welcome back to another special edition of the Two Boos podcast. I am, of course, Boo Santiago, one half of the Two Boos, and today is a very, very special episode because I get to talk about another one of the big loves in my life, which is pro wrestling. If you've been listening to the podcast previously, you might know that I am a huge fan. And usually every year, it's become somewhat of a tradition, I take time to sit down with a very special guest and we discuss all things in the world of pro wrestling, specifically the Showcase of the Immortals. WrestleMania 40 has come. WrestleMania is the culmination of a year long of stories and tons of exciting times in the world of WWE specifically, and I get to do that with someone who is near and dear to my heart. If you've listened to previous episodes, he's joined me before. He's a wise person. He's the person that's gotten me hooked on wrestling, and I have a great time chatting with him about it. So let's please give a very warm welcome to my dear cousin, John Santiago.
Yo. I'm good, cuz. I'm good. First and foremost, I appreciate, again, for another year of continuing this tradition with you. As you know, I've been a wrestling fan all my life, but to do this with you every single year and to have you back on board every single year, this is a very exciting time for me, very exciting time for us.
Yes.
So thank you for having me.
And one little detail I wanted to share with the folks out there while I actually have you here with me is that this is also a very, very unique and exciting WrestleMania because WrestleMania itself will be in our home state of Pennsylvania, specifically Philadelphia. And we have the pleasure of going there and seeing it in person. Me and you both will be there together to see the show.
Yes.
I mean, it's
and in fact, our very first WrestleMania would be together.
Exactly. That's true. Yeah, the very first WrestleMania that we get to see live, and me and you have seen a lot of shows in person, but WrestleMania is kind of like the white whale that, you know, it only comes around every so often. I mean, it's every year, but it only comes around close every so often. So the funny thing is we joked around about the potential of wrestling, because I was thinking, like, you know, it's been a few years since it's been in Philly. It has been I think the last time it had been in Philly was maybe in the 2000s, possibly. I can look that up. But it had been several years, so I was like, we are due for this show to come back to Philly. And what do you know, the next year, literally last year we were talking about this, and the next year they announced that they're going to be doing it in Philadelphia. And for me personally, I know you might feel a little different, but for it to be in Lincoln Financial Field, the Link as they call it, where the Eagles play, it's like a double whammy of fun time. So I'm very excited for that.
Boo. You know, but with that also being said, one thing I'm very excited about, I think we're both very, well, especially you, is the fact that our first WrestleMania, not only do we get to experience it together, however, we get to actually see one of our childhood favorites, The Rock, in person.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but this will be the first time I've seen The Rock actually in a ring in person. So this right here is not only going to take me back, you know, to my childhood, but this is going to bring a excitement that I think was a must needed this year.
Yeah, so that is something we're definitely going to get into because this year, as I stated before, WrestleMania is kind of like the season finale of this string of shows and string of entertainment that we get with the year in WWE. So everything kind of culminates in this big event. And this year has been filled with a lot of big moments, a lot of big returns, some legends coming back, some free agents that have been signed and brought on. We saw some debuts of some people that have been rumored to join us, which we'll certainly get into. So I just want to start and kind of highlight some of the big moments in the year. Maybe I have some things that I wanted to highlight as well for me, but did you have anything specific that you wanted to hit it off with that are kind of some big standout moments, and then we can kind of go from there and jump around?
I think I will say probably one of the big standouts probably the Jade Cargill signing.
Yes.
Again, I'm not really a huge AEW fan, as you know. However, if you don't know who Jade is, then you're just not watching wrestling in general. And I think for the excitement, for fans in general, again, when you have a megastar like Jade or how they build her up to, and then again, once you make that kind of star status, people start thinking dream matches. You know, I'm sure with MJF over there, you know, people are like, well, man, I can't wait till he comes. Imagine the matches he can put on with whoever's, especially on the mic. So I think Jay was a very exciting entry. Obviously, CM Punk. I don't think any of us saw that coming anytime soon. I mean, we've talked about that. I think he'll come back at a certain point.
Hmm.
In what capacity we don't know, but CM Punk coming back, definitely was a huge uplifting to the excitement going into the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was touching on when I mentioned those free agents. Those were the two really big ones. We knew that CM Punk had some fallout with AEW. Been a pretty big publicized fallout. He went on a post interview show after a pay per view and pretty much just went off after allegedly having fought the EVPs at the time. We won't get too
Mm-hmm.
specific into it, but after that, AEW kind of had to part ways with him, and people were there were rumblings. People didn't know. They knew Survivor Series was going to be in Chicago this year, and the rumor mill goes and behind the scenes goes, and it looks like literally in the last minute, in the last hour, they pulled the trigger, and CM Punk at Survivor Series this year, he came out at the end of the show, and it was a huge pop. People were freaking out; they couldn't believe it. I think the slogan was "Hell has frozen over" or "froze over,"
Right.
because I don't know who said. I think that's a Bret Hart. Is that a Bret Hart reference, or is that a CM Punk or does CM? Maybe they both said it. That like
Yeah.
hell would freeze over if I ever came back or something like that along those lines.
Yeah.
But it was one of those.
Absolutely.
It was surreal. I still can't believe now. You honestly were around more during the CM Punk era, and we said this on the
Right.
previous last year's episode, or maybe one of the previous ones, that I kind of stepped away from wrestling from like 2009, probably honestly
Right.
until like 2019. It's a big gap, and I think CM Punk was he had a pretty prominent reign during that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Definitely, especially from that 2012 year was a big one. That's the Money in the Bank match with John Cena, the infamous him winning, taking the title. Yeah, CM Punk was huge, man. Especially on his way out. Well, obviously, when he went to AEW, the pop he got when he went there, CM Punk was huge. So definitely an exciting time for fans that now that he's back. But that was yeah, CM Punk was definitely a predominant player. I know we've talked about that not on podcasts as far as like his arguments, because as far as I remember watching, CM Punk had a lot of title reigns. CM Punk had a lot of title reigns. He had a lot of main events. He was in the title picture a lot. But I guess his arguments was more so of the part timers thing, and I guess him feeling like he was worth more than what they were giving him.
Hmm.
So, but as far as like from a fan's point of view, he was definitely in the picture a lot, and definitely, if not the best at that time. Again, you can make an argument with John Cena, whoever, but CM Punk was definitely one of the best at that time.
Would you say he's the best in the world, perhaps?
No, I would not. I would.
I
I
just,
would not say that. I would
I'm
not
just,
say that. I'm
I'm
sorry.
just,
I am. You should know this. Chris Jericho is one of my top five favorite wrestlers of all time. So when you talk about the best in the world, when it comes to that phrase, sorry, Chris Jericho still takes that. Bret Hart, best there is, the best there was, best there ever will be.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have CM Punk high on my top list, but definitely respect what he has done and who he is.
Yeah, and if you guys listening, if you want to hear some background as to like how we came up in wrestling, some of our favorite wrestlers, our favorite matches, I think it was the episode from I think 2 years ago, maybe it was 2019, 2020. I pretty much asked John questions about how he got into wrestling, some of his favorite wrestlers. He's a big Bret Hart fan, so all of our previous episodes you can listen to them on anywhere you get podcasts. And like I said, it's been a really cool tradition. We've been able
Right.
to actually every year come WrestleMania season kind of recap the year and be able to touch base. I mean, me and you behind the camera are always
Right.
talking wrestling, but it's nice to
Right.
do it
And
and share
speaking
it
of
with the
speaking of Bret
fans.
Hart, this came in today.
Yeah, show it
All
off.
right. Yes, this is the what is it? The Coliseum. This is the Ultimate Edition Hart Foundation. It's a collab between Coliseum and Mattel.
Hmm.
The box comes with both the Anvil and Bret Hart. My cousin has seen this open. He tells me not to open it, but again, yes, I still collect. I'm still a huge fan. Um, One day I will put my collection on here, but again, this came in today. Speaking of Bret Hart, I had to show this off real
Yeah.
quick. So definitely an exciting time.
Yeah, and another thing about you too is you're an avid wrestling figure collector. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to find. let's at some point I got to post it or show it somewhere, maybe on social media. You can send me a picture. We'll post it along with this episode when it goes live.
Absolutely,
But John is a
absolutely.
huge WrestleMania figure collector. He has a bunch of different types of figures. Now, what might be, a little sacrilege to some collectors is that you actually take it out of the box. You like to get the feel for them and actually play with them. So this is why I was encouraging him
Right.
this time, since it's such a sweet packaging, to maybe leave it in this time. But you're probably not going to do that. That's what she said.
Right, right.
Yeah,
However, you're all right. This when they come in packaging like this, it's definitely more tempting to keep it in the box. However,
yeah,
I collect on a simple fact of never thinking to reselling. So I take everything out of
that's
the box
true.
because what I mean. Again, like I said, I like it in my hand, and I think it just looks better when you have all the figures in one thing, and they're all out and being free to roam around.
Yeah, that's true. So we talked about some of the free agents that came back this year, but a person who was already signed with WWE and is a lifelong WWE loyalist, that's Randy Orton, also came back at Survivor Series when CM Punk came back. Randy Orton had a real bad, has had back problems for a while, and then I think he kind of exasperated it. I think it was Jey Uso, someone from the bloodline, and he had to get back surgery, so he was out for a very long time. And we finally got to see the Viper come back at Survivor Series as well in the War Games match. So that was also really neat to see. And
Right.
it seems like Randy Orton came back honestly in better shape than before,
How
which
does
is
that
pretty
happen?
wild.
That was my thing. From going from he may never wrestle again, Randy Orton might be done, and this guy comes back like you said in the greatest shape
Yeah,
of his professional career. And I mean, we saw when he came out, I thought it was a glitch or something because how big he looked. Pause. But it was I was
fair enough.
great shape, great
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah, and if you guys want some further background into kind of the surgery, his recovery, kind of his family life, A&E actually did a WWE Legends biography series, so a TV episode where they go through Randy Orton's whole upbringing and his success in WWE, and then also when he had to leave and step away for the surgery. It's pretty good. If you're a fan, I definitely recommend it. A&E has been hitting on all cylinders with the WWE content. They have the show Rivals. They have the
You
show
have been
Legends.
advocating for that for a very long time, and I keep missing out on those
It
episodes.
seems like WWE has, since they don't really have the network anymore, they've been doing some documentaries on Peacock, and then they also have a deal with A&E where they're also doing documentary series as well. So yeah,
Right.
if anything, Legends is a really, really great series, and it's nice to see Randy Orton get his respect there because I personally think he's top 10, that's top 5, top 10 maybe for some
He's in
people.
he's in my top five.
Yeah. And of course, Randy Orton is also going to be in WrestleMania this year. We are going to also break down all the confirmed matches. Now, things may change. We're about 2 weeks or so away from the big show. So they could add some things, and we do have some speculation on what they may add or some people we might see, some surprises that may happen. But yeah, Randy Orton's one of the ones that does have a match, which we'll also get into a little bit later on. Now, the other big thing I wanted to chat about is that I think, and with all due respect, WWE has had a really, really big year this year. Some would say, even The Rock has gone as far to say it, that wrestling's cool again. Wrestling is back, and I think it's more mainstream than ever. Now, that's not to give, to discredit. We totally realize that there's other wrestling, independent wrestling promotions. We have shout out to AEW, shout out to TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. All different types out there. If I'm missing, I apologize. I know there's tons of independent circuits out there, but WWE in particular has made some big moves, and that's something I wanted to highlight this year. We had I think where it all starts is the TKO ownership. So
Yeah.
TKO, the company that has previously owned UFC, decided to also purchase WWE and pretty much merge that into a powerhouse of basically MMA and sports entertainment. And it was a huge, huge deal that happened. And there were also some movements in the actual hierarchy of the people running WWE, specifically Triple H, Paul Levesque, taking pretty much full creative control essentially for the product. And I think he's done a stellar job.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
what your thoughts on
Absolutely.
it with what he's been doing.
Absolutely. I think for me, And we've talked about this and I know we'll talk more when it comes to Drew McIntyre, but for me, a big thing is storytelling. Um, and you want to, when you're creating a feud or you're creating a match, especially if you're going a couple pay per views with it, you want a storyline people can buy into. And I think Triple H has done a great job with that, especially with the whole CM Punk going down and Drew having to take that spot, which I'm speculating that's what happened. But I think Drew has done a great job of having us buy into that storyline of this is his time, this is his moment. And I think what Triple H has also done is that he's given open opportunities to a lot of guys that maybe wouldn't flew out of the radar. I would say probably if Braun Breaker would have came up during before Triple H took over, I don't think he would be coming up. I think he would have got rushed up, or I think he won't be coming up with the hype that he has. I do like the fact that even though they're bringing some of these guys up, they're still kind of keeping them in NXT, like with Braun and Carmelo Hayes and them guys, dropping guys from the main roster down to NXT. Guys like Gallows, um, and Carl Anderson. Just say, hey, you're not really doing nothing on SmackDown. Let's drop you guys down here. So, and to me, it's just like um, I really feel like that's one thing he's done very well. He's his creativity, his platform is opening up for a lot of people
Yeah.
on the roster, and I've really been enjoying it, especially the storylines.
Yeah, and with him moving into that creative oversight position, it's also left Shawn Michaels to kind of step in and kind of take the helm at NXT. And I think obviously we know they've worked together in front of the
Hand in
camera,
hand.
and of course they work together behind the camera. And yeah, there's been this kind of seamless crossover between NXT and WWE. So getting you a chance to see some of the next wave, like the Braun Breakers, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, who we played his intro to start the show, who's
Best
really,
intro right now.
yeah, who's really
Best.
taking the world by storm. And then on the female side of things, we have Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez, Sol Ruca. I mean, it goes on and on. I mean, he's also credit to Shawn Michaels as well in NXT. If you guys haven't checked out the NXT product, I definitely suggest it. Now, I'm pretty partial to the black and gold aesthetic of the past, so it's a little colorful and bright nowadays. But that's that. Besides that, the actual content itself, the matches itself, is really well done. All right, and we are back. So before the break, we were talking about the TK ownership of WWE. They bought WWE. We had Triple H move into more of a creative control level, and we talked about the effects of that. And the other thing that was big news is that Dwayne The Rock Johnson actually joins the board of TKO and also decides to get the full rights to pretty much everything surrounding The Rock, the name itself, all the slogans and everything. And that's a big move, and that's a lot of commitment for The Rock to kind of come back to the WWE and play a larger scale role in kind of the production and things behind the scenes. What were
Right.
your thoughts of that when that happened?
The Rock is back. Rock being a part of wrestling, you can have all the opinions that you want, but The Rock being a part of wrestling is huge for wrestling. Um, Again, I think for the die-hard wrestling fans, the Attitude Era was the greatest era in professional wrestling. You can make all the arguments that you want. I would even think probably it was probably the most profitable time in wrestling, but it definitely was the most exciting time in wrestling. And now you have somebody that can still go, can still do it at a high level. I think it was a great move for wrestling and for The Rock, and most importantly for The Rock to be committed. It's one thing to just come in and show up and get a mic and have 15 minutes and get the crowd all going, but to be committed, I think is a great thing. And The Rock being part of TKO, which means he's on the board, um, opens up for endless possibilities. I read something the other day, don't know how true it is, but just the speculation in itself is exciting. That even after this WrestleMania, this might not be the last time we see The Rock in the ring. That apparently The Rock might be thinking about consistently throughout the year, stepping in the ring or just being around wrestling in general. So, as a fan myself, whether you like The Rock or not, this is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, so let's talk about this Brock. So we talked about the TKO side of things in the background. And the funny thing is, when we got this news, we were kind of speculating, like with this, we were like, okay, there, and you're kind of alluding to it, and it's already kind of known, but let's just kind of backtrack. But we were like, okay, does this mean that he's going to start getting some TV time? Are we actually going to see him in the mix? And
Right.
turns out he definitely got in the mix, and
Right.
in a big, big way. And him getting in the mix and what he decided to do led to actually maybe one of the biggest maybe controversies in a while in wrestling, and that is what I call the Cody Crybaby Saga. And
Nice.
we
I
don't
like
have to
this.
get too to
like
kind
that
of
spin on that.
we don't have to get
Like
too
that spin
deep
on
into
that.
it because there's a lot I want to get into, and we still got to go through the card and everything. But essentially, they decided to hold this event in Las Vegas, which kind of was the first of its kind. But I think with the partnership with TKO, they've been trying to get more of that big fight kind of feel, kind of the pre-show, kind of hyping things up, the weigh-ins and that kind of vibe. So they decided to do this.
Just real quick. How did you feel about that? Again, we all know wrestling is scripted. However, but like you said, you're setting up a press conference as if it's a UFC fight, a boxing match. What was your thought specifically on doing it the way they do it instead of the traditional? Everybody sit down and everybody takes
Yeah.
turns talking.
Honestly, though, I think the strangest thing for me was the timing. But looking back, I kind of I understand why they did it because that weekend was actually the Super Bowl. So why not? There's already eyes in Las Vegas. Let's get more eyes in. People who are coming to see the Super Bowl, they can stop by. It was a free event, which I actually really like them doing, is a free chance for people in the area to come in and see wrestlers and get a chance to pretty much be part of this event because the fans really helped kind of sell what was happening, what was going on. I like the new look. I like the big fight feel. It does give like a little bit of sense of realism because you feel like they are maybe kind of going off the cuff a little bit, which we kind of saw that, especially in the final segment with The Rock, Seth Rollins, Cody, and Roman. And everything. Right. So I honestly don't mind them kind of taking new approaches and getting more of that kind of MMA feel. They've done really well, and I think that's what makes to me good wrestling is when you can blur the lines of what's real and what's not. You don't really know. Are they saying something? Are they throwing a quick jab in there when they say something? Is that real? Do they really have beef? Is there something that they wanted to say so they got it off their chest? Right. I'm getting that vibe.
Especially in a time where kayfabe is completely out the window.
Right. With social media, now you pretty much it's hard for wrestlers to kind of stay reserved or stay behind the scenes. People are going to find out one way or another. There's paparazzi. There's all type of stuff. So right now, the best time to try to make some kind of kayfabe or try to make something happen is pretty much when they're out there in front of the folks. And nobody does it better than The Rock. And that's the thing I think some people, we accepted it, but I think some people couldn't accept that. And, they kind of felt a certain type of way because...
And that's a whole nother conversation.
Right, and that leads us to the whole Cody Crybaby saga where it looked like the trajectory was actually going to be that The Rock was going to step in and we were going to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Well, the internet was not having that, and we had a large amount, as the internet tends to be the most loudest, even though it might not be the most people, but it's the loudest people. And they did make a noise, and that's what birthed the expression Cody Crybabies. The Rock went on the Pat McAfee show, did a kind of cut, an old school kind of Hollywood rock promo, and called out these Cody Crybabies. And that's what led to, honestly, behind the scenes, I would think for them to try to shift gears and now say, okay, we got this megastar, The Rock. We know he's a draw. We have Cody trying to finish his story, which is also a huge draw. How the heck do we make this work? And I will take credit in saying that I think I called it in saying that, yeah, they should just do a tag match and split up and still get Cody his chance. We still get The Rock and Roman. I called
that. No, you did not. You called it when it was almost about to happen, when it was kind of obvious. Okay. And again, even with the whole Cody, like I said, like I told you so many times, The Rock should have been in the Royal Rumble. The Rock should have won the Royal Rumble if that's the route that you was going to take.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really touch. Go ahead.
I'm trying not to get triggered because you already know the main event I was looking forward to.
Yeah, so we can let the folks know where we lie. See, so I wouldn't say I'm a Cody crybaby, but I'm definitely a Cody enthusiast, and I was kind of bummed. As much as I love The Rock, I did want to see Cody kind of see this thing through, especially how things ended at last year's WrestleMania. But I also realized the potential and kind of selfishly, the fact that I'm going to be at WrestleMania to be able to be in the presence of The Rock and see him, in person, I was like, either way, I'll take what I can get. But I was leaning more towards Cody, and you were leaning more towards Rock and Roman is the match that it's
Yeah,
the match. It's the match that
it's the match.
everybody's yeah.
We live in a time we don't get dream matches. We don't get dream matches. The last big dream match we were all hoping for was Sting and Taker, and you saw what happened there. We don't get those dream matches anymore. Dream matches come around, once in a blue moon. You got the Rock and Roman, you got the Bloodline, the Tribal Chief. Like, there's no bigger story in wrestling than that right now. There's no bigger thing in wrestling than the Bloodline right now. And then even with when they had the tree up, I mean, that's a picture perfect story. I felt like if they would have done it right, obviously, you can make a bunch of reasons why. Wrong timing. Again, no Cody did, but like I said, I think if that was the route that we really wanted to take, I think Rock definitely should have been in the Rumble. That was what I was hoping for. Again, I'm going to be there in person, so to see one of my dream matches in person would have been amazing. But also, you failed to mention as well, and this is a real key thing in anybody's life, is that you failed to acknowledge your tribal chief. And that's one of the other reasons why he was on Cody's side, because my dear cousin, as wise and as smart as he is, does not acknowledge his tribal chief. Your tribal chief. You listening to this right now. Your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
So I will say that I recognize that he is. How do I put this? I recognize the grandeur, the success, the power of Roman Reigns. I realize the impact he has made on the business, and the pure domination that he has had. However, I feel that the time has come for someone to dethrone the tribal chief, and that person is the small town son of a plumber, Cody freaking Rhodes, to steal Seth Rollins' thing. I think it's time for him to take it. I think it's time for us to get that, and it's time for a new reign, pun intended, to happen. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to not acknowledge things.
No, reigns are measured on prosperity. Okay, given the time that Roman Reigns has been your tribal chief and the best wrestler in wrestling and the ultimate champion, WWE itself has prospered. He has made a lot of people a lot of money. Okay, going over to Saudi Arabia. Who do you think they want headlining? Your tribal chief. So the
Right.
reign does not have to come to an end. In fact, I'm hoping he beats Cody again at WrestleMania.
All right.
All them crybabies can go home crying all they want.
Mm-hmm.
And your and mine tribal chief is still your undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion.
All right. Well. I mean, with that being said, we might as well just get into it here. Let's go ahead and break down. He's going to throw the ones up there because he's got to do it. Let's go ahead and break down the WrestleMania card. So I got it queued up here. We'll let the folks see what we're seeing. So here I have our card here. I'm just gonna. I don't know why this is like this. I'm just gonna readjust this real quick. All right. So let's zoom in a little bit here and just run through this and give our predictions and see what we think here. I'm going to leave the championship match for last.
Okay.
Real quick. So we'll start with down here. Now, these are in no particular order. I think there's only two matches that we know are actually happening on night 1 and night 2, and those are the matches that involve The Rock, Roman, Cody, and Seth, which we'll get into. So let's just start at the bottom here with one that actually was made official fairly recently, and that was LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I know you're not a big LA Knight guy, right?
No.
That's all he's got. No.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, I'm like I've told you, I'm not against LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an LA Knight hater. If he's in the match, I'm not like, oh my gosh, here come this guy. I'm just he just doesn't do it for me. He just doesn't. However, me being a fan, I personally believe he should be wrestling either Gunther
Mm-hmm.
or Logan Paul for the simple fact that the man is hot right now. I'm not too sure of the reasoning why they're going him and AJ. I don't know if that was a personal thing. Or maybe that's to get him more, I guess, um, height. Again, beating a guy the stature of AJ Styles. But I don't know what better to capitalize over height than winning a title at the grandest stage of them all. And I think he would have definitely had great promos with Logan Paul. Logan Paul, we've agreed on this. I think is a great heel for how young in the business he is. A lot of heat would have been in that match. The promos would have been great. You got Gunther's record-breaking Intercontinental title reign. What
Yeah.
what way? What more? If you can't give him a world title, what bigger way to capitalize on this guy's hype than to allow him to beat the longest reigning Intercontinental champion of all time?
Right.
However, they went a different route. You got him and AJ. AJ is one of my personal favorites. I'm not against this match. I think obviously anybody in the ring with AJ Styles is going to look good, and if anything, I think LA Knight comes out on top, a better performer in this match.
Yeah, I was curious too if maybe this will leave room for a potential person maybe to interfere that then will lead into a feud maybe with LA Knight. I'm not sure, but I think either way it's going to be a good match. I like LA Knight. I like AJ Styles is. I mean, any match he's in, he's going to kill it, I think, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be good. It may be a sleeper match. It may be one of those
Right,
that kind of comes out
right,
of nowhere and we end up really
right.
enjoying it. Honestly, I think, again, selfishly, with us being there, everything's going to be kind of elevated for us. But
It's going to be a
for
long
those,
weekend, Cody. It's going to be a
it,
long
it is.
weekend.
Yeah, it is. Because we're gonna be there for both nights, and I'm gonna
Right.
try to get as much footage and photos. So hopefully, I can do we can do maybe a post
Yeah.
WrestleMania episode and
I got
kind
to
of
clear the
recap it
storage
and
on both
everything.
of my phones. I think I'm full storage on both phones. So
Right. Yeah, we really got to make room for this one. But
right.
yeah, I think it's going to be a solid match. Curious to see if they add to any other storylines, if someone tries to interfere, if something happens that leads into it. And that's the one thing about WrestleMania, for those who don't know, is not only is this kind of a culmination of stories in the past year, this is also the start point of where we're going to lead into some other storylines into
Right.
the next big pay-per-view, which I would say is SummerSlam,
Correct.
which is also another
Which is
huge,
not
huge
too
event.
far from when WrestleMania is over.
Yep. And we just got confirmation that SummerSlam is going to be in the hometown of Logan
Logan Paul.
Paul, Cleveland, Ohio, which is going to be. I'm sure we'll see the Kelseys there as well because I know they're big Ohio guys.
Right.
So that's not too far from WrestleMania. So yeah, these matches are not just kind of throwaways. They do have I'm losing my words, implications for later on as stories proceed. So let's move
Right.
on to the next match that we have here, and that is going to be the 6-pack. This is the way they're explaining it. 6-pack, not 6-man. The 6-pack WWE Tag Team Championship ladder match.
Well, it's not
And
6 men, so it would be 6 pack.
how's it not 6 men? Oh, you're right. It's not 6 men. My bad. Sorry.
Come on, man. You know how to count there, brother. Come on.
Sorry. It's
And I called you
I'm
smart
just
earlier,
I'm
making me
just
look bad.
it's because I'm excited. You know that. It's because I'm excited.
Okay.
I
All
can't
right. You
wait.
got that.
I can't wait.
You
A
got
ladder
that.
match. This is going to be great. So looking at this, so the way they kind of led into this is that they did qualifying matches for different tag teams. So we
Right.
have some, I guess you could say, very established tag teams. We have a return of a previous tag team that did really well. That in Awesome Truth. We also have a newer form. Well, not really a newer form, but maybe newer to like the more, I should say, mainstream fans. We have Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. They were a tag team in NXT, but if you weren't watching NXT, they now have formed together again in the main
And if
roster.
you haven't watched NXT, you need to go back and
Which
watch some of their matches on
Right,
NXT.
right, and that's when I referenced the Black and Gold era. That was when they were big there as well. Lots of
Right.
people from the Golden era. Damian Priest as well is one of them, who's right to the left of Johnny
Right.
Gargano.
And also
So
Finn Balor.
and also Finn Balor had a great heel run there as well. So yeah, so speaking of Finn Balor and Damian, they are our undisputed tag team champions. They've been the champions for quite a while, and they are part of the faction or the group Judgment Day. And that leads to the question, do we think, well, first of all, who do you have? Oh, actually, sorry, I'm jumping too far ahead. We also, if you notice, there are 4 empty spaces, meaning 2 teams have not been confirmed yet. But I believe that the qualifying matches are done.
Right. Let me see if I can look it up. See, we got a winner here.
So right now there is some speculation of who those final four members will be, or those final two teams will be. And there's been a lot of speculation going around that perhaps the Hardy Boys might make a return. We had Matt Hardy actually show up at a Monday Night Raw last week, and he was taking pictures with fans and everything. So all that speculation started happening. Could we see the Dudley Boys make a return? Who knows? But either way, it's a pretty stacked match. These are guys that have a lot of experience. These are guys that can do some high flying stuff, some crazy stuff.
Nope.
And
Not
then
up yet.
so we don't, yeah, so we don't know who the final four are. So we have some entertainment factor. We have some just solid performers and some power performance, all
Right.
different types of people. Honestly, for me, I feel like still this WrestleMania is
I'm
going to
going to
be
speculate though. I'm going to speculate that it's Waller in theory, and then the other team will be the Street Profits.
okay. So no
Right.
legends coming back, just adding some additional teams.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
Which
so
which which brings you to my question, because I know we talked about that earlier about possibly the Hardys being in this match. Now I'm with the pop that the Hardys will get. However, we have joked about this several times. First of all, Matt Hardy looks like he can't hardly walk
right, he's a
sometimes,
little bow legged.
and yes, absolutely. And Jeff, if he is, if that is even in the correct speculation, one, is a WWE willing to take another chance on Jeff, given all that um he's gone through? And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jeff left on his own terms after they gave him an ultimatum about going back to rehab. So do you take a chance on that? And at this rate, given the fact that it looks like WWE is trying to rebuild their tag team division, do you take a chance by putting in the Hardys, um, and kind of them overshadowing these younger teams, or these teams that you're trying to build up? I don't think it's a smart idea. I personally can do without. I just don't think like they're going to give us that excitement that I'm sure fans are looking forward to. I'm sure Jeff will do something off a ladder or something like that. But at their age, um, I'm
Yeah.
just like, nah. Let's get some new blood in here.
Yeah, I think it's just the initial kind of visual of seeing them, the return and everything. But they kind of already did that in a previous, I forgot which WrestleMania that was. But
Right.
they came back and it was a big surprise. So, yeah, that's the other
Right.
thing. It's like, it's one thing when you see them and you get that nice visual of them coming out and the music and everything. But then when they get into the ring and they start going through the motions, if you're being honest with yourself, the reality starts to set in. You're like, okay,
Right.
I think they're a little step behind. There's
Right.
there's something just not missing, and yeah, you don't want at their age, you don't want to risk something happening. I mean, Matt Hardy has already taken some crazy bumps in AEW that were kind of scary. So, and Jeff Hardy as
And
well,
Jeff,
actually.
and right, and Jeff
Um,
just took a recent one that was very very
right,
bad.
right. So,
Um,
yeah, I mean, why not give the opportunity to someone else out there? And I feel like this WrestleMania right now, at least maybe Triple H or all the creative people are not shying away from using the talent that they have outside of The
right,
Rock, obviously, but they're using what's there and really giving these people the opportunity to shine and trusting in
correct.
them. So I'm excited. I love everything they've done as an entertainment factor with R-Truth, him and The Miz. They have great chemistry. I mean, I feel like The Miz has chemistry with everyone, but seeing them together as Awesome Truth, they're going to be entertaining. Do I think they're going to win? Probably not, but it's going to
You
be
don't think
fun.
so?
I don't think
You
they have a
don't
chance of winning.
you you don't see R-Truth climbing that ladder with all them people screaming, and him finally getting like that
He'll
WrestleMania moment,
get
or
he'll
or
get a
as most
moment.
would right, but as most would say, the moment he has deserved for a very very long time. Um, I if they're in it, I have them winning.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I have them winning. And personally, I would love to see that. Now again, R Truth is another one. R Truth kind of up in age. What kind of bumps is he going to take? Is he going to take any bumps at all?
Well, even him
But
though, his matches that he's had, I know they haven't been long matches, but his matches on Raw actually, he's moving
right, but
pretty
as you
quick.
said, they haven't been long though.
Yeah.
Again, how what kind of bumps at his age can he take? He did come back from an injury recently as well. So is this the question is? how much of he's going to put into this match. I'm sure we'll get a lot of comic relief in this match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
From the,
entertainment factor.
absolutely, and then with DYI, I think they're calling themselves Regeneration X now. It's
Yeah.
like kind of a yeah, kind
Well,
of
thanks to
so.
R-Truth.
Right, exactly. So I think, and also with the whole Judgment Day thing, I think we're gonna get um, some comical relief in this match.
Yeah.
But also if you, especially if you're adding the Street Profits, which I'm going to bet that they are going to be in it. You got Grayson Waller, who's has taken bumps before. Theory. I'm looking. I'm hoping Montez Ford does a frog splash from like a 20-foot ladder.
Yeah.
That for me would be like, there it is. There it is.
This would be, I think, the Street Profits' first official on the card match, because I'm pretty sure last year or the year before they did like a tag team. I forgot what it was, like a tornado tag battle royal kind of thing, some kind of match, but it was like a pre-show match. It was good. Maybe it wasn't pre-show, but it was it wasn't.
Was it Andre the Giant thing?
Maybe it has that spot where Dawkins speared the hell out of he trucked Braun Strowman. There's that shot of him on the sideline trucking him.
I think that may have been the Andre the Giant thing.
That was the last time. Yeah. That was their first time on WrestleMania.
Oh no! You're right. That was, I believe, that was the 4-way tag team match. That's when what's his Shush.
Yeah, Chad Gable.
Chad Gable did the I'm losing my thought here too. The suplex on Braun Strowman. They really got a nice pop.
Yep.
Because I remember we talked about that match. Because I know for me, I wasn't too excited.
It was fun,
that match. But that match ended up being a really good match.
It was very fun. It was very nice. But it wasn't deep in the car, like in an official match.
Right.
So now the Street Profits, if they are again, get their chance to actually get even bigger moments on that stage with that focus. So yeah, if they're in the match, they are big contenders. But personally, I think this is going to be a Judgment Day WrestleMania. I think they're going to take a lot of the matches. We'll get into Rhea Ripley later on. But I think Judgment Day is going to hold on to the titles, and maybe towards SummerSlam we're going to see them take a spin. I also think Damian Priest will have a through line with his story, because he still has the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I think we might see a cash in potentially in the Drew Seth match. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But I'm still going to go for that, because this Judgment Day faction, I think, is over pretty well. Meaning that it's getting over pretty well.
Right.
And I think they want to keep this going a little bit more. So I think I think they take it. I think Damian and Finn take it.
Right. And on a side note, I with the whole Andrade thing, I know that's a little, but on a side note, I think Andrade would be a great.
Well,
great
he was
addition.
He was another big free agent pickup that we got. We forgot to mention that earlier. There were a few other ones. We just kind of highlighted some of them that stuck out to us. But yeah, Andrade just came back recently. He's back in WWE. It's nice to see him. So yeah, that's awesome.
We talk about this all the time. Andrade, great wrestler. You defend him a lot, but his English is still not good at all. His English is terrible. Like, the man cannot. Yeah, exactly. The man. If you see him talk, how long? Right? How long are his conversations?
They're short, but you don't need to say a lot to still make an impact.
No, he needs to say a lot. He needs to say something. He needs a mouthpiece. The best run he had is when he was with Selena. I'm
curious, because me and you are both Hispanic, so we're not being racist or anything. But I'm curious, why not? Like, everyone else speaks Spanish. Like Santos Escobar, he speaks Spanish. Ray has spoken Spanish. Carlito has spoken Spanish, who came back as well. That's another big person that came back, Carlito.
Right.
I don't understand. There's always, with him in particular, he really sticks to English. I don't know if that's creative telling him to do that, or he wants to really try to progress. I don't. Maybe for Charlotte.
Because you have to sell yourself to the predominant demographic, which is English. You on English national television. You have to sell yourself. The man cannot cut a promo. If you can't cut a promo, you can't sell your product.
Right.
And we saw that with his first run. His in-ring ability, fantastic. We both can agree on that.
Yes.
The man again, and then he went. He worked on his body. He bulked up even more. He
Yep.
went to AEW. I guess you could probably argue he got more of a persona confidence, with his wardrobe and things he's worn. Now back in WWE, I think him hooking up with the Judgment Day is huge for him for the simple fact that he will have a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And I think for him in general, he needs that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, when they make them cuts in a couple years or whatever,
he's on the block.
Right, Drew Gulak is going to stay again, but Gulak and Tozawa are staying again.
That is the true talent. The fact that Akira Tozawa, Chad Gable, the fact that they're still going strong after those cuts of 2020,
right.
That was a mean slice in 20. Everyone was cutting things on 2020 to save money.
But yet Drew Gulak, who looks even more out of shape right now, still has a job.
And we're going to see him, guarantee we're going to see him WrestleMania weekend. Because Philly's his hometown. He's from Philly, so they're going to give him some sort of opportunity. Just a little insider information. We also, again, humble brag, not to make anyone feel some type of way, but we also got the priority pass, which gives us a superstar tailgate. So we don't know who it is, but we're going to have the opportunity before the show to meet some wrestlers, and we've been making we've been making the joke that it's probably going to be Tozawa, maybe R-Truth, maybe Drew Gulak, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, Natalya, I'm fine with that though. Anybody I can get a chance to meet, I'm actually okay with. John, not so much. He's over here throwing out Roman Reigns like he's going to meet top, the card guys, but I highly doubt that.
Hey, let me dream for a little bit. That's
fine.
All right.
Maybe I hope I'm wrong. For your sake, and my sake, I hope I'm wrong.
I think we'll get one pretty big star, but the rest just,
Liv Morgan.
Don't get me wrong, though. If we get some NXT females, there is no argument over here, brother, at all. At all. Personally, if I had a choice, it would be a lot of them NXT girls. Okay. And Tiffany Stratton is still considered one of those NXT girls.
Yeah. Another big name. Yeah. I think I mentioned her. I might have mentioned her earlier with some of the up-and-comers. I'm pretty sure I did because I'm a fan. As I hit my camera, I'm a fan of her as well.
Hey, look, you're getting excited. Look at you over there.
I'm getting a little too excited here.
Yeah, you got Lola Vice over there. You got what's the one girl you was telling me? The one girl, she's very athletic. She had like the colorful outfit on.
Sol Ruka.
Yes. Yup. You got her over there. Nikita Lyons.
Oh, I totally forgot about her too. Yeah.
Oh, and my homegirl. What's
Lash Legend.
Girl? Lash Legend.
Yeah.
What's the other girl? She's with the
Jada Parker. Jada Parker.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah. NXT's fire. Shawn Michaels.
Just real quick. Just hold on. Just real quick. Jada Parker. We had to give a huge shout out to God's creation.
Shawn Michaels.
No, not Shawn Michaels.
He's giving her. Shawn Michaels is giving her the spot. It's like a meme right now on the internet. Is like Shawn Michaels knows what he's doing because he is spotlighting. He's spotlighting some.
Whoever is making her outfits, continue to do so. Please continue to do so.
This guy got the dog in him. He's got the dog in him.
Call me Braun Breaker right now, baby. I'm telling you.
All right, man. Moving right along to.
You got missionary.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I deal with.
Shout out to Jada Parker.
It's fine. I'm reeling it in. That's what I'm here for. We got to have someone reeling it in. So, getting back to the card. Sorry. Our next match is also one that I'm all excited for these, but this one in particular. Speaking of the Hardy Boys, speaking of a tag team that has been together, they've been separated, they've had solo runs, and they've had matches against each other, and we get a similar situation with also a very prolific tag team, and that is none other than the Usos. We finally get Jey Uso, who's had a fairly good solo run, and then we also get Jimmy Uso of the Bloodline coming together and having a one-on-one match, and I am very much looking forward to this. I think they personally have been wanting to have this moment together at WrestleMania, and I know they're going to give it their all. What other person to work with than your own family?
Yes, they've been on record of saying their dream is to face each other at WrestleMania, and they get it, and we get to see it.
And again, for those who may be listening for the first time and don't know, Jimmy and Jey are actually the children of Rikishi. big wrestler in the Attitude Era in the 2000s. So I think also we might get an appearance from Rikishi possibly at WrestleMania. Maybe they might fit in the father somewhere in some of the angles. But either way, it's safe to say that this is probably going to be a classic. People harken back to the memories of Owen Hart versus Bret Hart, that famous match that they had together. And I think this is going to be no different. And
We're going to
it's going
see
to be good.
about 256 super kicks.
A lot of super kicks, a lot of splashes.
Yep, a lot of kicks and
ooh,
splashes.
so.
Right. I'm excited for this match. I think Jimmy needs this more than Jay. But I do know if Jay wins this is obviously going to catapult him into I feel like where they're going. But I think right now, and again, it's another thing we've talked about. I don't like necessarily how they split them. I don't like how they went about that. I feel like there was a way better way they could have done the whole Jay and Jimmy Uso split. Even with the whole him turning on his brother, I feel like they could have done that another way with him still turning because it did make sense of why, but the timing to me seemed like it was just way off. Like, wait a minute, you left because you didn't like Roman, and then your brother left with you, and then your brother faces Roman, and then you cost your brother the title, and then you go back with Roman. So to me, it just seemed like, or maybe that's the angle that they're going, where Jimmy is this guy where he's just lost. Like Jay knows what he wants. Jay knows himself, who the wrestler he wants to be, the persona that he wants. Where Jimmy, on the other hand, is pretty much just trying to find himself. So he goes back to the bloodline. I think Jimmy needs this more. I do like, though, however, the last couple of promos they have cut against one another. I think you're seeing a lot of Jimmy's personality as far as being a heel, where so we've seen more of the funny type of Jimmy Uso. But I think the fact, because as history would tell, there's not a lot of successful tag teams in which both of them have gone their separate ways and have made it out pretty well for themselves. It's not a very common thing where you see that. And given the fact that Jimmy and Jay have been together for a very long time, it was kind of like, are they ever going to split up and go their separate ways? So I think this sound, and it's also a great reason why you put factions together in general, hence Evolution with Batista and Randy. But I think Jimmy needs this more. However, I do agree we are going to see a classic match, and I hope they get the time to do everything that they want to do and make it what they want.
Yeah, I hope it's an emotional match. I hope some tears are shed. Maybe they have an embrace at the end of the match. Who knows? Maybe it'll be factoring into a bigger story when we have the Cody, The Rock, Roman bloodline angle.
Right.
Who knows? Something could be playing into that. As far as predictions, who's actually going to win? Who do you have for the match?
I gotta say, I have Jimmy.
Oh, did you already say that? I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Owen beat Brett. Matt beat Jeff. I think Jimmy beats Jay.
Yeah, I'm going the other way around. I actually think Jay's gonna win, and this is gonna help kind of solidify Jay in his solo run and kind of help in one way or another kind of close a book in kind of his bloodline thing. Unless he comes in later on and does something, but this might be a way to kind of let him handle his business and then kind of move on to whatever's the next challenge.
But also the key fact, I think Solo does interfere in this match. But like I said, it goes back to what I was saying. I think in this match, it's who needs it more. And I think Jimmy needs this match more than Jay does. Jay comes out, he got the whole crowd going. You know what I'm saying? I think Jay being Solo the last couple of months, I think he's gotten it. He's a baby face. Crowd loves him. I think Jimmy needs this more. Again, with Owen and Brett, Owen needed it more. Matt and Jeff, Matt needed it more. So I think Jimmy takes this one. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jay won.
Yeah, the same thing. I wouldn't feel any different if he ended up winning, because maybe that factors in again. I trust the bloodline and what they're doing. So if this leads into something more with that storyline, I'm okay with more bloodline things. I don't have a problem with that. So following that match, we have another match here. This is one that we knew it has to happen because it's kind of it's a historic title belt. It's one that means a lot, that can kind of predict things down the road for a particular wrestler, whoever holds it. But they had a qualifying match to see who would actually challenge the champion. And I'm speaking of the Intercontinental Championship match. We all know Gunter has had an amazing run, well-deserved in my opinion. Literally top-notch. He was top-notch in NXT and just seamless transition into the main roster. Dominant figure, has held the title for over a year now, probably longer, I think.
Which
And
which
so,
which which not to cut you off, but which is another side note and praise for Triple H for bringing um how we would say some prestige back to the belts.
yes,
You know, especially the Intercontinental title, because for a long period of time that title was changing hands like hotcakes. And so pretty much the credibility of that title pretty much went out the window. Where as in the '90s and the early '80s, where it was looked at as the workhorse title, pretty much you got that belt is because you were respected. You were respected as a wrestler, in-ring performer, and pretty much that was the next step was the world title. So
yeah.
I think Triple H did a great job of again these long reigns we're seeing with Rhea and Gunther, Seth, Roman, obviously. I think again another credit back to Triple H.
Yep, exactly, exactly. So we had the qualifying matches of who was going to win, and it turned out that Sami Zayn was actually the one to take it. And this honestly has been somewhat controversial, depending where you look, because a lot of, I think, the crowd favorite or the fan favorite was actually Chad Gable. He was a big favorite coming in, but Sami Zayn came in, ended up beating Chad Gable for the final qualifying match, and now we have Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the title. Now, before I get your opinion, John, I will say that I'm okay with this match because I think Sami is a solid performer, and I think Gunther also too. He's one of those guys. No matter who you put him with, he's
Right.
going to give you the best. So I'm okay with this. Now, I will say, Chad Gable, I think, is tremendously underrated. I think he does not get the opportunities that he needs. I think he's proven that when he gets an opportunity, he makes the most of it and excels at it. And he's just a solid athlete, solid performer.
Right.
You get the vein of Kurt Angle, you get the vein of, I would say, even Brock Lesnar too, and some of his wrestling and the power that he has for as small as he is.
Right.
And so I would have liked to see that happen, and they kind of had more story substance because he had lost to Gunter, and Gunter kind of insulted him and his kids and stuff like that in front of his kids. But that being said, I think Sami Zayn, if anything, he proved this last year, I guess the year before, at last WrestleMania and Elimination Chamber last year, and in Canada, that he can handle main events, he can handle big matches, and I think this one will still be pretty good. But who do you got? Or what do you think
Mm.
about it, I should say? What do you think about
Well,
this
first
matchup?
I think we're going back to corny Sammy. As you know, I wasn't a big Sami Zayn fan. Coming out of NXT, I like you said in the ring, good to go. No
Yeah,
issues with Sammy's in-ring performance whatsoever. That's never been an issue for me. His persona and character has always been an issue for me. Felt like he was very just character corny until he started the whole conspiracy theorist type character, which I really enjoyed. Um, and then obviously that segued into the bloodline, which I thought was perfect for him. And but now again, but those were kind of heel roles, and I think for Sammy, I feel like Sammy's better in a heel role.
yeah,
But now with that being over, the whole bloodline thing is gone. The whole Kevin Owens tag team is gone. Now we just got Sammy by himself being a face, which to me personally, I don't like it. I didn't think that he should have won. I could have dealt without Sammy this year.
yeah,
And I think the crowd kind of showed that where okay, that's where they're at with Sammy as well. Okay, we were with you last year. You had a great run. Bloodline thing was great. You got your shot, but now this whole face thing is just not working no more.
right.
Chad Gable again, I think should have won. Me and you talk. I personally was hoping that Sheamus would have been a guest entrant in that match. I felt like that would have been a bigger story considering the fact the performance that they put on at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, maybe match
Also,
of the year potentially.
right, right, 5-star match.
hmm
And the fact that also that Sheamus has never won the Intercontinental title, I felt like that would have been a huge, huge deal. And that's what they could have definitely built off of. And you already know both of them guys are going to perform. And their last match, the Sheamus chest was just full of blood. So them guys are not going to hold back any punches
Right.
whatsoever. It would have been straight brutality. I think the crowd would have loved it. The crowd would have enjoyed it. The storyline would have been great behind it. But that's not what we got. So we got Sammy and Gunther. Not too
Yeah.
excited about it. I hope Gunther wins.
Well, what I'll give credit to both of them actually is that, yeah, like you said, you can feel and see the physicality in the matches. Yes, we know that a lot of this is, some would say, choreographed to an extent, but it has that kind of, that choppiness and that kind
Right.
of brutality that you get, that really kind of gets you into it and gets you kind of like really pumped up and riled up about it.
Right.
And I
Right.
think, honestly, credit to Sammy, because I think Sammy too is not scared to, maybe not pull the punch as much, and
Right.
actually get that contact so it looks more convincing.
Absolutely.
But that being said, as far as predictions, I'm actually going to take Gunter. I think he's going to win. I think, though, we may have again the potential in this match for someone to show up and kind of make a return and say, "Hey, what about me?" Maybe Sheamus. Never
Maybe
know.
Chad.
Maybe Chad. I think this might lead in. I think SummerSlam, you're going to see him on the card again, defending the title. And
And the question would be after this: if Gunther does win, what
right, who's
next?
next? Who's
What
next?
what, what, what does that look like for him? And
Goldberg.
I know there was another speculation as far as Roman retaining, Gunther retaining, and then somewhere I believe in September or October at one of I think the Saudi pay per views, Roman will be coming up on Hulk Hogan's record. Gunther longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Roman Reigns hitting up on Hogan main event. Obviously speculation, of course,
I don't like
but the
that.
question would be, where does Gunther go after this?
Yeah.
He's beaten everybody. So where do you go after this?
I mean, I still think there's still people he could face. I mean, there's people like, there's world championship, like previous champions, world champions that he hasn't faced yet, that I think would be a good challenge for him. So
Randy would be a good Randy and him would be
Randy,
a great
Seth
Randy and him would be a
Rollins,
great
even
match.
Seth
I
Rollins,
don't,
if he loses the title,
right. I don't think him and AJ have gone at it yet.
he just does. Yeah, so there's like people who have been previous champions or who have held intercontinental titles
Absolutely.
before, that I don't think he's at that spot just yet where, yeah, he's kind of beat like a Roman Reigns where he's literally taken out everyone there is to take out. So there's still room
Pretty
for
much.
him, and again, he's just going to keep proving that he's in the right spot, and well deserves, I think, the praise and recognition that he's been getting. So
Absolutely.
there's our intercontinental match, our title belt. So now we're moving on to another title belt as well, and this is going to be the United States Championship. And in that
Mm.
match, it's a triple threat match, which is kind of interesting.
This
And
is very interesting.
we have our United States champion, which is none other than Logan Paul. Now, we didn't get the chance, I don't think. Well, last year he had a match, a WrestleMania match against Seth Rollins last year. And I think we might have talked about Logan Paul, but I'll just reiterate my opinion about him. The guy can work. He's good. He's athletic. He is, I think he's willing to learn, grow. He appreciates the business. He's a fan. Regardless of what his online YouTube persona is or how he carries himself, when it comes into the wrestling ring, into the business of WWE, the guy can do his thing. And he's proven that you can put him with different people and he can still have big moments. He can still perform, and I look forward. Honestly, I look forward to his matches. When he has a match on the card, I'm curious to see what he's gonna try to do. And of course, he's working with of, I mean, two of the
Right.
best out there, and then
Right.
one of the Hall of Famers, I'm sure, in Randy Orton. So, but yeah, I don't know who wins this one. It's very interesting.
I think Logan wins. Considering SummerSlam is in Cleveland, I think Logan
Oh,
takes
okay,
this one. Yeah, I think
nice. That makes
Logan.
sense.
Yeah, I think Logan takes this one into SummerSlam. Um, and maybe what this is pretty much again catapulting him, you know, ahead because if I'm not mistaken, I think Logan has officially retired from boxing and has fully committed to WWE.
Yeah.
believe I've read that somewhere.
Well,
They now
he did sign a pretty hefty contract with them.
right,
So yeah, he's definitely in it for a
right,
little bit.
right. So now he's pretty much all in. Like you said, he's going up against you, two future Hall of Famers. I think Kevin Owens has done enough to definitely be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Definitely one
Yeah.
of the best workers right now in
No,
wrestling.
no disrespect to Kevin Owens.
Right,
He's great.
absolutely,
He's amazing.
absolutely. But we all know Randy Orton is hands down in the books, So, but I think this is pretty much, hey Logan, putting you in WrestleMania, two one of the best workers right now. this is we're gonna let you shine. I'm pretty sure he's gonna take a beating in this match, but he's gonna have his moments, and he's gonna come out on top. And this is just gonna catapult him into them building up for SummerSlam, because I'm sure they already have a lot of what they're gonna do for SummerSlam that's gonna involve him, and SummerSlam is gonna be big.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting him to come out on top. Now, preferably who I would like to come out on top, obviously Randy Orton, but Randy Orton doesn't need the United States title. Kevin Owens doesn't need the United States title. I think this is just to get them on the card, get a big match on the card, get Logan, where he needs to be, so we can move forward into SummerSlam.
And so who's your winner? Did you say that? Did I miss that?
I'm gonna go Logan. I'm gonna go
Okay.
Logan.
Oh, you
Preferably,
did.
I
Duh.
want I want
Yeah.
Randy, obviously, but I think Logan takes this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I can. I think the same thing. I'm going to go with Logan Paul on this one. I think he's. Did he win last year? He lost,
No, he
right? He
lost to
lost.
Steph. He
He
lost to
hasn't
Steph.
won at WrestleMania yet. I
Yeah, he
don't
did.
think.
Him and Miz beat Dominic and Ray.
Oh yeah, that was a couple. Yeah, a few
Remember that?
years back.
Remember that? And
Okay.
that's when Miz gave him the skull crusher finale after the match.
Yes. Yes, and the
Yes.
turn happened, and that started their whole feud.
Which, by the way, that
Okay,
was great. That was his.
it
Because I
was.
remember we watched it. His first match was, well, we talked about it. Logan Paul,
Yeah.
to me, he's better than probably 85% of the AEW roster.
Oh my
So
god, this guy's throwing shots. I was trying to keep it, keep the humility there, but I
I'm
guess that's
sorry,
throwing out the window. John,
AEW didn't.
yeah, John is a loyal WWE fan, always has
It's not.
been.
It's not about loyalty. It's not about
Well,
loyalty. Well, okay, maybe it's a little about loyalty. However, I gave WCW a chance growing up.
you did,
Okay, I gave WCW a chance. It even got to the point where my dad had two TVs set up right next to each other, so on Monday night I could watch Brawl and Nitro right next to each other.
right?
So it wasn't like I wasn't giving AEW a chance. I think competition in wrestling is a great thing. I thought the idea of AEW was a great thing. Again, competition makes for great television, and I was all for it. However, and you know this, you be like, "Hey John, you got to turn on, you got to watch this."
Oh
And
no,
every time I turn on AEW,
no, don't
there
do
is
it.
some crazy botch fest that makes me regret why I even listened to you in the first place.
I have the worst
So
luck with having you tune in. It really is the worst. It's the most
it's
unfortunate. Every time I get you to, it's like the most unfortunate clip. It's like a backstage segment that has nothing to do with anything. You're just like,
yes,
yeah, I just
yes, like
don't.
yeah, like my grandmother's a dinosaur. Oh yeah, really? Like, come on,
Hey,
man. Like I remember specifically one day. I think you were raving about it for like 2 weeks, and you was like, "Yo, man, you have to tune. Like, you just give it a chance. You have to tune in." And I remember I was home, and I'm like, "What am I gonna watch?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, AEW's on tonight." And Boo keeps telling me just to tune in, just to give it a chance. Like, all right, okay, fine, I'll do it. Tuned in to a match and don't remember who the match was because that's how bad it was. And I just remember just sitting there for about 2 to 3 minutes watching, and it was just botch after, and it was bad. It was bad. So again, Logan Paul better than 85% of the AEW roster.
yeah.
Again, I tuned in onto that video today, and I saw that botch fest that what's his name now, Claudio Cabanava or whatever they call it, Cesaro now over
Claudio
there.
Castagnoli, I think,
Yeah, Cabanoli or
formerly
Stromboli, whatever.
Cesaro.
Yes, they butchered my boy over there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
so
okay. If AEW is your thing, more power to you. But for us, as of right now, we're gonna be rolling with WWE and kind of what they
yes, and
have to
all you
offer.
AEW crybabies out there,
Oh God.
again, keep in mind, okay, you guys are still a second-rate show,
Oh my
all right,
God.
a second-rate brand,
Why?
all right. You
Okay.
haven't even been. No.
Now I gotta reel
Since
him in
we're
again. I gotta reel him
since
in
we're
again.
on the subject, real quick, I'm tired of people on the social media. Again, first of all, hating on the tribal chief, you're all very disrespectful. First and foremost, that's why you're not going to get nowhere in life because you don't acknowledge your tribal chief. That's first and foremost. But all these haters keep talking about how AEW is so much better.
This guy's
It's
cutting a
so
promo.
pro. It's so pro wrestling. Like, oh my gosh, you guys know nothing. That's why AEW sucks. That's why y'all losing. Y'all best people. Again, Jay, bye. Cody, bye. And mark my words, MJF, bye. He leaving too. He coming to WWE, and that's just it. Like AEW, like y'all fans just gotta stop. It has to stop. At some point, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, let me stop. Let me just enjoy it for what it is, and that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. No more.
Are
That's
you
it.
done? You good? Did you get
I'm
it all
not done,
out?
but I'm
You
no,
got
I
it all
didn't.
out?
But no, because there's a lot in here. But I'm gonna let it go. But I'm gonna let
Yeah.
it go because it's true.
Yeah. Namaste. Namaste. He's
Yeah,
been
go ahead.
holding
Go
that
ahead.
back. Sorry, folks. He's been holding that in for a while. And, when he's with me, he likes to be honest and have,
It's
decompress and have
ridiculous.
good conversation.
Ridiculous.
So anyhow, reeling it back in as I tend to do from time to time. Let's go on to the female wrestling side and jump into our next match on the WrestleMania card, our next confirmed match, and that is for the women's WWE World Championship title. And our women's championship is, of course, none other than Mommy herself. I got the I'm with Poppy shirt, but you got the I'm with Mommy shirt as well, and that is, come on, man, have a
Did
little,
you see her in that red
have
dress at Dom's wedding?
what you. Why is that the first
Oh,
thing? I'm trying to highlight their
oh
athletic
man.
ability, and then
Jeez.
you come in here just full force talking about outfits. So let me get to the
Did you
match.
did you
The
did
match.
you see you matter of fact, if you could look it up right now, you need to pull that up.
I will
Pull
not.
that.
We
Please,
will.
I'm telling you, just for the fans' sake of tuning into this podcast, they have to see what I'm talking about here.
They will. I'm sure they're quite familiar. She has quite the online presence, and that is Rhea Bloody Ripley, and she is unfortunately defending her title against
Yes, Boo Boo's favorite female wrestler.
Becky Lynch. Everyone. So, um,
His
yeah, I'll
turn to
let
be
you go
triggered.
first because you go ahead, and then
Oh, you gonna let me go? You gonna let me go
I'll,
first on this one?
I'll
I,
jump in there.
yeah. I'm again totally not sold on this match. I personally think, first of all, if you were going to do this match, you don't promote it before the Elimination Chamber. I think it obviously made that match very irrelevant for them promoting this the whole entire time. We obviously knew Becky was going to win. WWE can't do nothing without Becky Lynch. I'm sorry. I believe she's overrated. If I'm looking at it now, I don't even think she's top 10 as far as in ring ability. I think I would still put her behind Rhea, Bianca, obviously, Bailey, Tiffany Stratton, um, Alexa Bliss, uh, even Liv Morgan, even Liv, especially the way how she showed out at the Elimination Chamber. Again, I'm not sold on Becky Lynch. I get it. The whole man persona came in at a perfect time. We're not going to get into that. But
Years ago.
it came in at a
It came
perfect
in years ago and peaked, and now
right.
it's
It
been
came in at a perfect
overused.
time where men,
Like you can't say
women,
that.
fellas.
I can't say that it peaked. I can't say
All
that.
right, you know what I'm
But
saying? Like we get it, we get it. That's why she got big. Okay, now we're here. Okay, now we can't do nothing without Becky. I don't think she's a great wrestler in the ring.
stiff.
It's athletically, she just can't do what a lot of people can do. I don't think her impacts are good. I'm not a total Becky hater. I'm not a
Watch
hater.
her You watch her run and then you tell me how she compares to other female. Just watch her run into the ring.
Right, right,
She's stiff.
and the thing is too, watch her with female wrestlers that are not really looked at as great in the ring. Any great match Becky has had has been with somebody who's been better than her.
That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, but
You know what I'm
I tend to
saying? Like,
agree, but that is a tough pill that people
right.
seem on the internet seem not realize.
Becky's best matches are with the people who are literally better in the ring than her. Bianca,
Sasha,
Charlotte, Sasha,
Bailey,
all better wrestlers than her that made her look good, and here we are. But if you watch her with, I will give her credit for the Lita match. I will give her credit for that. And that was, to me, that was
I
Lita's best.
mean,
But again, I'm not a hater, so I'll give her credit where credit is due. They pulled that match off when I thought that match was completely gonna suck. However, the athleticism in that match was nowhere to be found.
yeah.
And again, besides that match where again they pulled it off, it wasn't a great match. It was a good match. Name one match that Becky has really pulled off with somebody that wasn't better than her in the ring. You're not gonna find. In my opinion. However, this is WrestleMania. We gotta have Becky. Boo-hoo. I hope it's a 2-minute match in which Rhea Ripley just annihilates her, and then we can move on.
Oh man.
I would definitely be going to the bathroom on that match
Well, damn.
after I see Mommy walk to the ring.
There you go. She's probably gonna have a good entrance. I mean, where do I begin with this? I mean, it's. I said this to you. I've had this conversation, but I've been waiting to share this actually on air. We are at a point in women's wrestling where we went to a point where it was all about just, are they pretty? Can they be sexy? And that was about it. There was nothing really, the physicality. Then you kind of got into your Trish Stratus, your Lita, Chynas, have some more, a little bit more to the matches, a little bit more move set, a little bit more physical. And then we've like extremely progressed in women's wrestling now, where we have a new form of female wrestler, I think, that is very athletic, very muscular, like not super muscular, but a very strong build. And they're super physical in the ring, and they can do a wide array of movesets. The people I think of is your Rhea Ripley's, is your Bianca Belair's. I even throw Tiffany Stratton in there, some of the NXT people. There's
And we've even talked about Nia Jax's improvement.
Nia Jax. I mean, and she's always kind of had that, but it's this kind of more bigger, physical, kind of daunting looking females that are still feminine, and you still have kind of the sexiness factor and the prettiness factor and all that.
Absolutely.
And I think Becky Lynch unfortunately just hasn't caught up to that. I think she's trying to use past gimmicks, her acclaim, like, her relationship with Seth Rollins and her association with different things, and her in Hollywood and all that stuff. She uses that to kind of compensate. But when you look at it, like you're saying, in the actual matches in the ring, I just don't see it. I think she blends in compared to any person on there. Her mic work is fine, but to me, it's a little like she's trying too hard. I think she's stiff. I think she's really stiff in the ring. I think her punches are very stiff. She's kind of seems like a step behind. She does sell for people here and there, but that's maybe the best thing she has. But sometimes she oversells, in my opinion. I just don't understand it. I think, she struck gold thanks to Nia Jax. Let's just call it what it is. If it wasn't for Nia Jax punching her nose out and her bleeding, and then and credit to her for cutting a promo after she got hit in the nose. So credit to her, because the mic work, like I said, is not bad. But we're talking 2018, right? 2019. That was years ago at this point.
Exactly.
And it just gets to a point where it just becomes tired and old. And I really don't think if she wins, people are going to be. And the thing is, the gauge of her knowing how much is the fact that Rhea Ripley's supposed to be the heel. And they are cheering her left and right. They love her. She is on top. Mommy's always on top. And that is deserved. She is proving it. And again, she fits that aesthetic. And that was my thing. I just don't think the aesthetic, when they showed them head to head, it just doesn't look. Rhea Ripley towers over her. She's larger. It just doesn't fit. I'd rather have two, strong people go.
What you're gonna see in this match is Rhea Ripley pretty much selling for Becky, making Becky,
which looks weird.
Again, those of you who are listening to this podcast, watch this match very carefully. This match will be good for the simple fact of Rhea Ripley, and you'll see that how good Becky looks because of who she's in the ring with, and the fact that they are a better wrestler than her, and the fact that they pretty much threw Becky into this, because if you guys remember her feud with Trish Stratus didn't go anywhere. It didn't go nowhere. It was a boo fest. Didn't really get any traction. I think they stretched that out for months. Nobody was into it. Didn't get no traction. And then she kind of just floated around. And now here comes WrestleMania. Now we got to find something for Becky. Let's just throw it in here. When in fact, again, if you saw Elimination Chamber and the ovation that girls like Tiffany Stratton got in that match, like I said, even Liv Morgan, her performance in that match, I think I would have loved to have seen Tiffany Stratton in this particular one. I think, but again, it's WrestleMania. We're going for Starfest, not necessarily in-ring performance. So,
yes, and then with wrestling, there's always the marketing aspect. So she did just release a biography.
Right. Makes sense.
I don't know who's going out of their way, out of all the books out there, I mean, I'm sure she has somewhat of interesting. She came from Ireland, wrestled her way, through independence, and came to the U.S. and made a name. I don't know. I feel like it's a little early. She's only like,
Just a heads
she's
up,
in
that
her.
is one of your Christmas gifts coming up this year.
Great. I can't wait. I can't. Maybe I mean, I'll give it on a shot, but she's only like 30, what, 36, 34. She's in her mid 30s and she's
Something
doing a
like that.
biography about her life. I think that's just, I don't know. It's a little pretentious to me, in my opinion.
Right.
But anyway, that's all to say that I hope Rhea wins. I hope she takes it. And this goes back to what I said before, where I think the Judgment Day are going to have a
Right.
huge night. And I
And
think
then
she continues to hold the
you
title.
also have the headline, Mommy versus the Man.
Right.
So that within itself is obviously, a great headline for this match. And like I said, it's WrestleMania. You're going for star power. It's the All Star game.
Yeah, yeah, and so yeah, but yeah, I honestly wouldn't have an issue if this was a squash match and maybe they lead into another person coming in to challenge Ray. I don't know, Jade
No
Cargill, maybe.
issue.
I don't know,
No issue
but we'll
over
see.
here. But let's not remember. Let's keep in mind though. Let's not be surprised if Becky does win this match.
If that happens, I have a feeling the Philly crowd is gonna give their 2 cents, and that's one
I
thing
think
that
they'll.
the
I think
notorious.
they'll give their 2 cents before that even happens.
Well, yeah, Philly is pretty well known. The crowd is well known to be a very, very opinionated crowd, and sometimes on
Right.
the contrary to other cities where they have shows. And I have a feeling WWE is aware of that hostility that can be in the crowd there. So either way, it's going to be good to see, and I can't wait to see it unfold. Our next match,
Absolutely.
staying in the
Wait,
women's.
wait again, real quick though. If you haven't yet, look up Rhea Ripley at Dominic's wedding in that red
Yes,
dress. Just
yes.
put it out there.
For John, make sure you go check that out, and you can report
Won't be
back on
dis-
our. Let us
won't be
know
dis-
on our social media. It's we're on Twitter/X. Excuse me, 2_booze. I keep bourbon, and also 2booze podcast on Instagram as well. You can let us know if you enjoyed that, or just comment on YouTube. This is on YouTube. Just comment. Have you seen the photo? What do you think? And you can say John was right or John was wrong. Just let us know which is which, and then
John was
we'll
right.
go for there. Yeah. So staying in the women's realm for matches, we also have
Sleeper.
the
Sleeper right here.
women's. We have the World Women's title in Rhea Ripley, and then we also have the WWE Women's Champion title, and that is the champion right now is Io Sky, formerly Io Sarai, and she is going to face against none other than Bailey. And I gotta
Right.
say, one of the better stories out of the better build-ups to
Right.
compared to other
Right.
matches, kind of your more traditional kind of nice, building, adding layers, and then finally you have that big break where they decide to challenge each other. This was great. I mean, you have the story of Bailey. She kind of, again, I would say reinvented herself again. I mean, we know she was the hugger, she was the super baby face, and then she decided to come back as a heel. People forget the fact that she kind of carried in 2020. She did a lot in 2020 in that heel run in a time where they were relying heavily on a very limited roster, and she really
Right.
showed up. And she continued that, and then we finally got, again, probably thanks to Triple H and the creative team, they were
Right.
able to bring back Io Sky, or bring up Io Sky from NXT. They brought back Dakota Kai from release. Actually, she was released from
Right.
NXT, and they decided to make the faction Damage Control, and they had a great run there. And then we had another kind of ripple in the storyline where we had Asuka and Kairi Sane also step into the picture. Kairi Sane was also a big return that happened as well, formerly also with NXT, but then released and then also re-signed again. And then finally we had the betrayal where Io Sky, Asuka, and Kairi Sane decided to cross Bailey, but Bailey was one step ahead and actually knew it. She was learning Japanese the whole time, calls him out in Japanese and says, yeah, I know exactly what you've been saying this whole time, and I don't like it. And now we're going to fight about it. And here we are right now at WrestleMania. And this, I don't want to say this is a sleeper because I think they're both warranted. Like their respect is warranted. I think they're two really, really good. I think Bailey, again, I give her all the credit. I think she's great in the ring, and Io Sky as well as has a lot of high flying spots. She can do a
I'm
lot.
surprised Io has kept the belt as long as she has.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think that's a Triple H thing.
Right, but it goes back to not being, and I guess this is the opposite of not being able to sell yourself on the mic. But she's also had Bailey for the last couple of months that they broke up to kind of talk for her and sell for her and everything. She's done a great job of her expressions and everything. But the hype that Rhea Ripley's match is getting should be the hype this match should be getting. I think this match is going to be better than the Rhea Ripley match. Um, and Bailey, opposite to the super athletic women athlete we're talking about, very I would say technical,
Hmm.
but Bailey can wrestle. Bailey can absolutely wrestle. I enjoy Bailey's wrestling very, very much.
Yeah.
Um,
She's a good storyteller in the ring,
right.
I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing I like about EO that, again, no disrespect to the women's wrestlers, especially when they do the high flying moves, a lot of them tend to botch a lot or miss a lot.
Missed the
Um,
target.
right. Shout out to Tiffany Stratton who never misses. But one thing about EO, she definitely connects on her high flying moves. And we saw in the women's War Games match, they can sell. They can sell. EO can sell really well. I'm looking for, and as you said, the storytelling in this match is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think this match is really going to be, yeah. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to this one.
So who do you have taking the match? That's
I got Bailey taking this one. I got Bailey taking this one. I
I think
think
she wasn't at WrestleMania last year.
right,
So didn't actually get the chance, and I think she got her moment at Royal Rumble, and I feel like she deserves that moment at WrestleMania, kind of holding the title and getting that chance to finally again shine and get the
right,
respect that I think she deserves. So I'm taking Bailey as well to win, and again I think it's going to be a solid match. I think it's going to maybe surprise people. I mean, like I said, I'm expecting it to be really good, and
right.
yeah, I'm ready for it.
I'm ready for this one
So
too.
moving now back to the men's division here, we have another championship title match that's being defended. This one also, I'd say as recently, kind of got a little bit.
Wait, hold on real quick. We cannot blow past Bailey real quick without talking about
Oh
the
my
outfit
gosh,
Bailey
dude.
might wear
You
in
are
that match.
you're a committed man.
Listen, man. Listen, man.
Don't
We're putting on a podcast and we're putting on a show. All
This is
right,
gonna be
and
on the internet.
it doesn't matter. It's our duty to make sure people are well informed of what they are going to see and what we are excited for. I'm excited to see what Bailey's going to wear because we all know that Bailey has that.
You know, John, it's more about looks. It's also about the matches. Let's
Oh,
remember
she's
this.
gonna put on. She's gonna put on a good match. She's definitely gonna put on a good match. But I'm just saying. All
Right.
right, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You
we know.
know, and everybody else knows when she comes out, what they're gonna be looking at. But again, just like Rhea with the red, if you need to Google Bailey's.
Yeah, she was just at the Bucks game. Milwaukee Bucks. That's your team, I think. One of your teams.
You know who my team is.
All right.
You know,
Anyhow, we won't talk sports or NBA or anything like that right now. Let's stick to the world of wrestling and following into our next match here. That is the World Heavyweight Championship match. And the World Heavyweight Championship is a newer title belt that was, I guess you could say, reintroduced. Kind of a sort of influenced by the big gold belt that everyone talks about, the big gold,
right,
the
right,
WWC title belt that was also then transitioned into WWE as the World Heavyweight Championship belt. That was brought back, and the person that they decided to trust with this new title was Seth Rollins, who I think
great choice.
has done an excellent job
Absolutely,
being the
absolutely.
face for that title. And
Right.
then he's going up against none other than the Scottish psychopath,
Like a
Drew,
bath. All right, that's what we're doing.
Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre, I think, has been
Phenomenal.
a guy that has really stepped it up and kind of been able to be innovative in the heel role. Not only be the same heel he was back, like when he faced Roman Reigns at WrestleMania a few years back, but just kind of more maniacal, more sense of humor to it, and just more honest. I think he's been again able to blur kind of the lines between what's scripted and reality, and he's done that really well. And some of the
Right.
shots that he's taken at people,
Right.
and his T-shirt that he prayed about this, and getting into like meme culture on the internet,
Perfect.
It's great. I don't
Perfect.
know if that's his idea, but whatever he's doing, whoever's collaborating, whatever's happening, it's worked well and it's sold this match. And he's done excellent as well because we know that Seth Rollins has been very involved in the Cody storyline, and he even has a
Yep.
match with Cody. And
Yep.
They've even been able to play that into it with Drew saying, hey, man, forget about all that. It's not worth it. Worry about your title and worry about facing me. I guarantee you that should be where you're dedicating your time, not this stupid bloodline crap. So they've been able to actually still give intrigue while Seth is kind of multitasking between
Right.
different
Right.
things here. So,
Right.
and
And you
these
talk
two,
about. Go ahead.
I'll say these two are solid. I mean, they're solid performers. And they're some
Right.
of the best in the business. I mean, Seth Rollins is another one. Any match he's in, he's gonna do great. The dude has it. I'm not a huge fan of his outfits, the whole colorful outfits and everything. I don't really like that. Love his
Right.
theme song. Love his
Cross
wrestling.
dresser. Big cross
Yeah.
dresser.
The Roman shot was fair, but outside of that, I think he's got it, man. He's one of the
Phenomenal.
greatest. He'll be one of the greatest. He's up there with all those guys, and then Drew
Right.
McIntyre too. A story.
Right.
What a story that he has. Where he was, then to get released, then to come back in better shape than ever, and then have this type of runs that he have, and then now he's making the
Right.
most out of this opportunity and back at WrestleMania.
Right. You make a great point right there. Making the most of an opportunity, considering the fact I would bet on this that they were going CM Punk, Seth Rollins, WrestleMania. I mean, I think that's what we were even hoping for. And then when the whole Drew McIntyre thing came up, it's like, well, they just did this not too long ago. These guys had, 3 matches with each other. He lost every single one. We're really going to do this again at WrestleMania. But to simply sell that again after we've had this so many times, to resell it, and to the point where we're actually interested in watching this again,
Mm-hmm.
you got to give all the credit to Drew on that one. I'm
Yep.
excited. I'm actually really interested in this match, and on the top of the fact that Drew was robbed of his WrestleMania moment during COVID,
Yeah.
and the fact that he can actually have a chance now to get it again, I think is a great, like you said, great storytelling. Great storytelling. I mean, and even from this, you can lead into SummerSlam when CM Punk comes back as world champion. I mean, two birds with one stone. And like you said, he's even segueing into the whole bloodline thing. Hey, you need to focus on me, not on them. And if you're focused on them, I don't care because I'm still going to beat you anyways. If you're not focused, that's your fault, not mine. The the build up, the build up is what really has me interested in this whole match. But as you said though, when it comes to performance, top notch, both these guys. I would
Yeah.
even go on the limb of saying that Seth Rollins, again, now hear what I'm saying. Seth Rollins is the modern day Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I will go on record of saying there's not a guy you can't put Seth Rollins in the ring with, and that guy will not look good, or that match will not be good.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to this match. I think we'll see a lot of close calls, but I would love to see Drew have his moment. But again, looking forward to this match. But I do got Drew. I got Drew winning this
Mm-hmm.
match.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm going to take Drew McIntyre as well. I think he'll get his moment with the championship belt at WrestleMania. I think maybe CM Punk. I've been following him on social media. His recovery is going really well, and I think we might get a chance for him to kickstart that Seth Rollins feud and bring that back at WrestleMania because he's already said that he plans to be there. We don't know in what capacity, but I think
Right.
we might start getting that. Just kind of them. I think they've been doing that where they plant the seeds, and I think we're going to
Okay.
get a lot of seed planting here. But I do think Drew's going to take it. What night that match takes place on, we don't know, but it's going to be interesting. We know that the tag match, which I'll be actually leading into next year, we know the
Okay.
tag match with The Rock and Roman is actually night one. So
Okay.
is Seth going to be defending on night one as well? And that's another factor. Who knows? Because definitely that match is probably going to be the tag match is going to be the main event of night one.
Right.
So
I would
without
I would assume that match is the first match on night one, night two.
okay, the Seth and Drew match.
Yeah, the Seth and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean that would make
Yeah.
sense too. That'd probably be better to kind of get Seth at like full capacity for the match and all that stuff,
Right.
so they can both give their all. So that makes sense too. But without further ado, let's get to one of our biggest matches, probably in history, and also just in general of the night. So we kind of laid into the storyline before, but essentially we have a tag match between Seth Rollins, our world champion, world heavyweight champion, and also Cody Rhodes against the Bloodline themselves, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, and also
Correction, correction. You're our travel chief. You see the
I should I should
the
have
disrespect you have on. It's incredible how you can speak with such disrespect. But go ahead,
I
continue.
should have let you do the introduction for Roman for the Bloodline
Yes,
side, and then
you
I
want me
did
to?
the other side.
Yes. Can I do this, please? Can I do this, please? Okay.
Go ahead.
Your main event on night one will be Seth freaking Rollins, along with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, taking on The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, the Brahma Bull, and your and mine tribal chief.
Yes,
Well, in fact, let me do what Paul Heyman does. Roman Reigns.
Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, which we'll also
Ah,
touch on as
right.
well.
That's right.
Yeah,
Shout out to
yes,
Paul Heyman. Well deserved, especially in Philly.
yes, it's gonna be great. I will be selfishly, I'm shameless plug. I'll be attending the Hall of Fame event as well.
I'll
So
be asleep,
I'm
getting a lot
very
of rest.
yes. John will be keep getting all his rest for the next nights to come. So that's very exciting to see Paul Heyman in the Hall of Fame. Very well deserved. Excellent
Absolutely.
idea because he has so many deep roots in Philadelphia, in the city of Philly, and they will no doubt show him some brotherly love. You
Absolutely.
like that? That was a nice.
Absolutely.
I'm really proud of
Yeah,
that line.
you did.
Anyhow,
Yeah. Show that
so
brotherly
let's
love to your tribal chief.
so this is going to be our first match that has some stipulations to it. So this match, this tag team match, has implications for the title match that Cody will be having on night 2 against Roman Reigns. If the
Right.
Bloodline wins this match, it will be a Bloodline rules match, which I've been told means that anything will go against Cody and Roman, which means interference from the Bloodline, most likely from some family members. So that is the question. This sets up what we're going to see and gives us a little bit of a preview of night 2. Do we
Right.
think that we want to have that interference in night 2 and make it a little bit harder for Cody? Do we think that
Right.
maybe Seth and Cody have a moment and win, and maybe this makes the Bloodline a little bit more uneasy about what it looks like? I'll start first in saying that I think they are going to lose this match, Cody and Seth, because we want to get more exposure with The Rock, and we're going to have The Rock help out his cousin and maybe double cross his cousin at the end of the night too, but we won't get to that just yet. I would like you to go ahead and expand on what you think. First of all, who do you have and how do you think things are going to play out?
Well, first off, like you said, I think the best thing about this match is that we really don't know who is going to win. The speculation that this could either go one way or the other, like you said, Bloodline wins. You got Bloodline rules, which means more obstacles for Cody to overcome in, finishing his story, which obviously creates nothing but just greatness at the end when he accomplished his ultimate dream. Now, if they do win, you get Roman and Cody by themselves, which everybody always says Roman can't win without the bloodline. So you finally get Roman and Cody 1-on-1, and then that goes to show, okay, 1-on-1, who is the better man? So
Right.
either way, it can go either way on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with you. I think the bloodline wins on
Mm-hmm.
night one. I feel like because then it comes down to who's getting pinned.
Right.
You gonna pin the Rock or you gonna pin Roman? And that's the other factor you can look at it too. Does Cody, if Cody and them win, does Roman get pinned?
Hmm.
So I don't see Rock or Roman getting pinned.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do, again, what does that set up? So I think there's a lot of excitement in which way it goes. But like I'm with you on this. I think Bloodline wins this match. I'm more intrigued about what Cody and Seth are gonna wear in this match.
So you think maybe they'll match?
I think I would not be surprised if Seth wears the whole Dusty Rose polka dot thing again, and Cody follows up with the same thing in a similar way. I would like to see that because I'm pretty sure Rock and Roman are going to come out in red and black,
Oh,
obviously.
Man, I
Like,
hope. You know I've been telling you this. I am
oh
so
yeah,
tired of the
yes,
damn cargo pants and damn gloves, whatever he wears, and the boots, man. Come on. You're the bloodline. You wear the dang puka shells. Let's get some haka. Let's do a nice haka
right.
warrior dance.
And the crazy thing is, he doesn't even have a logo or anything on his pant. Like, not even like a simple like Samoan symbol or something on his pant. You don't need nothing crazy. Just a simple man. This guy's still wearing the same Shield cargo pants.
but I would like to think that The Rock is definitely has some plans, and The Rock hasn't shied
Right,
away from doing things with representing his heritage. I'm
right,
sure. I'm hoping they're going to have a nice grand entrance because that's the other big appeal about WrestleMania is you have a lot of
right,
grand entrances. It's a big set piece. I can't wait to see what the actual
right.
WrestleMania ramp and
I
set's
would
going to look
love
like.
to. I would love to see some kind of, like you said, haka. Um, or or maybe even their family come out
Yeah,
all together. Which was also, again, not to segue, but also goes into what they could have done if this would have been Rock and Roman main event. But like you said, I hope they will come out with some kind of Samoan tradition when they come out. However, given the fact that there is two megastars, I don't see them coming out at the same time. Um, so it
no.
comes down, yeah, I don't see them coming out the same because obviously both entrances to the WWE universe
Yeah, and they've
is
already had them come out separately already, and it looks like The
right,
Rock has a brand new entrance, brand new graphic,
right.
so they want to
Because
show
I
that
know for me
off.
and you, once that, if you smell, we're losing our voice if it's not gone already. Mhm.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to just like slam tons of caffeine just like it's so much. It's gonna be so draining in the best way
Right,
possible, like in the best way,
right,
not in a negative way. But
right,
yeah, I can't believe this. I mean, this is worth the price of admission right here to be able to
right,
have.
right.
I
And
mean
I do
that
like
amount of
what they
talent.
did. Right, and I do like what they did. I know, like I said, we've talked about it briefly as far as what I wanted as far as a WrestleMania main event. But if you're going to segue away from what maybe the original idea was or what we wanted, I love the fact that what they have done and they're doing on night one with this tag match, and then what we're getting on night two with the actual main event. And
Yeah,
again, we get to see Cody, Seth, probably the four biggest names right now in wrestling, and in the same match in a tag team. I think, like I said, if you're gonna segue, this was a phenomenal way to segue. So shout out to whoever plugged that one in.
yeah. It's great too. Also, just with The Rock, you know, I know he's been on record with saying that he's been training for this. He has a whole camp set up where he's working through, but I think just to play it safe, having him do a tag match where he's not gets a chance to kind of rest, come in
Right,
and out. He's
right,
not fully has to be in it. This will let him get an actual feel for things if he is going to keep doing matches. Because just like with any sport, any athletic thing, you're an avid basketball player. Basketball cardio is very different from just going on cardio and doing a
right.
treadmill. You have to get a certain
Absolutely.
amount of feel and endurance for it, and they've said that too. The ring cardio is very, very different. So this is a smart way of doing it, letting him still be there, be a presence, but not have to commit so much
Right.
effort.
And given
And
his last match was almost a decade ago,
right,
a matter of fact, I think it might have been a decade ago. And the fact that in that match, I think he said he tore his groin like early in that match against John Cena. So again, and like I said, what we talked about with Jeff Hardy and Matt and these older wrestlers. Now, granted, Rock doesn't have the miles on his body that them guys have. However, like you said, you haven't been in the ring for a very long time. Injuries is definitely something to look out for. I hope that nothing happens to where we actually get to see the fruition of what they're creating for this match.
yeah,
Yeah, like I
yeah,
said, I'm really excited for that. I think we're gonna see uh, some hard hitting. We're going to see a lot of close calls. We're going to see a lot of spots. And like I said, I'm very interested to see how The Rock really performs in this match and how he looks. And also the crowd. You got four guys in one match that are all crowd lovers. Whether you want to look at Roman and Rock as heels,
yeah,
people love Roman and the Bloodline. People love The Rock. People love Cody. People love Seth. The atmosphere in this match is going to be crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it's going to be nuts. And Philly, I think, is you have a mix, but I think you got an old school. There's an old school respect in that town and that area. So yeah, The Rock is going to get just as much love, and we've already seen that. There was the initial kind of booze with the whole Cody Crybabies thing, but once we realized that they had a plan, we knew where things were going. The Rock's getting just as big as a pop, if not more, than
Right.
Cody, than all these other guys, and it's
Right.
undeniable. You just can't undeny the guy is just a natural. I mean, his just the finesse on the mic, the way he does it, the promo he shot last week on SmackDown, where he had the blues players out and he sang a song. I mean, it was perfect. He's pushing the
Right.
boundaries as well. He's getting some
Right.
heat for it, for the language and
Right.
kind of pushing the boundary, but we need it. Like that's the way
Little
it just
it was the little dick syndrome comment for me from
yeah.
Cody.
Well,
For me, I was like,
Well, yeah, and he raised the bar, and Cody met the challenge, and Cody's like, "All right, well, if we're doing that, then I'm going to come back tenfold." And yeah, props to Cody for clapping
right.
back
This
even
is what
even
we
more.
need. This
Yeah,
is what we need.
yeah,
And again, not trying to get too deep or too stretched out, but society in
she said,
general, this is what we right. Good call. This is what we need. We need to stop this whole, oh my gosh, let's not say this, or this person might be offended to say that. No,
yeah,
no, no, no. Say what you gotta say. Say what you want to say. If people get offended, that's their problem.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? This is professional wrestling. This is what we grew. And the crazy thing is, the things we're getting offended on is the same things we grew up on, that we loved and that we knew how to take and how to
right.
process. You know, again, this is a great time to be wrestling. As he said, wrestling is cool again,
It
right?
is.
Because if you don't know, again, just like Hogan back in the '90s and the '80s, if you didn't know wrestling, you knew who Hulk Hogan was. Even now, if you don't know wrestling, you know who The Rock is.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
you know who Cody is too. Even now,
right,
people know
you
who
know what I'm
Cody
saying?
Rhodes is. Seth Rollins.
Exactly. And you got people coming back to wrestling. You got people watching these. Oh man, Rock's back. Oh, what's going on over there?
I love
Hey,
it.
let's tune in. Let's tune in. Again, this is what we needed. This is what we need, especially in this time, to catapult WWE into a new, atmosphere. Again, we had the PG era. There's only so many things you can do. At some point, there's a you can't stay in a cap space so long. At some point, you got to find some ways to get out. And
Hmm.
again, but who's gonna do it? Nobody better than The Rock. Because again, what you gonna do? Fire the man? Cancel the man?
He's on the
Good
board.
luck. Yeah,
He's
good
on the
luck.
board.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
luck trying to cancel The Rock. See where you get with that one.
yeah, it's great, and he's elevating things, and he's giving opportunities for people to step up, and they feel like they can make it their own, and he's showing that
Right.
he's being able to innovate and continue to do that, and I appreciate him for him. That's why he's probably my favorite wrestler. I would say I had to say he's probably my favorite wrestler of all time, and I can't wait to see what's to come and what they're going to do here. So our last and final confirmed match, leading right into it, we kind of already touched on it, and this also depends on who actually wins the tag match the night before. But we have Cody versus Roman 2. We have the rematch from last year's Royal Rumble. Jesus, sorry, last year's
Yeah.
WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
Last year's Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, last year's WrestleMania match in which Cody did sadly lose the title. It was kind of a shock to a lot of people. They thought the buildup was there. They thought the moment was there. I thought the moment was there. I was extremely disappointed, extremely butthurt. But either way, we're back. And yeah, John was there to witness that butthurt and rub it in my face. But
Yes, he was very disrespectful to his tribal chief.
But we are back. We're back now. Cody has another shot at it. Could have to deal with more than just Roman this match. Could be just Roman one-on-one. We shall see. But either way, I'm here for it. I personally, it's time. I'm ready. Like Roman, first of all, just outside of the storyline, Roman has, without a doubt, at this point, he's going to have to need like 8 replaced discs, a new spinal realignment, because this man has been carrying the WWE for many years at this
I
point.
was wondering where you was going with that. I'm like, wait,
And
when did this happen?
he's
Where'd
going to
you
need a
get this
whole.
injury?
He's going
Where'd
to
you
need
get this
a,
injury report from?
he's going to need a whole bacchiotomy after this match, because he has been carrying this business
Yes.
4 years, and it is
Yes.
time for Roman to relax, enjoy your family, enjoy the wealth, enjoy everything, and just let a new story flesh out, and that and Cody Rhodes being the champion. So for that reason, I hope Cody wins, so Roman can finally get his ability to just kind of relax and chill. Outside of that, outside of the stuff, I just think now Cody Rhodes, it's time. The moment's there. I think if you try to push this out until SummerSlam, if you try to put this out till next WrestleMania, I just don't think it's going to have the legs. And then you're going to deal with the thing where they get tired of Cody as the babyface, and people
Right.
start booing it, and they get bored, and
Right.
then it's like it turns into a joke. Just
Right.
do it. It's time. Do the thing. Make it happen. I will cry. I likely will cry. If he wins, I honestly will shed tears because he's going to be crying and it's going to be emotional. I got to be honest. And I just think it's time. And either way, whether it's just one-on-one, he beats Roman, or he somehow beats the odds, I would love to see there. I actually would like there to be interference and maybe have, this is just a dream shot, but I would love for like Dustin Rhodes. I know you trash on this, but his brother Dustin Rhodes come in, maybe take someone from the bloodline out, cheer on his brother from the sideline, 1, 2, 3, and then they celebrate. His mom comes in the ring. It would just be an amazing, heartfelt moment, and I would get to also selfishly get to be there
Right.
in person and share that with my friends and
Would you
family.
like Would you like Dustin's sons to be a part of that too? Because it seems like
Yeah, I
you're.
mean, bring the whole family. I mean, yeah, any remaining roads come in, because you think this whole time it's all about the bloodline, it's all about the Fatu bloodline and that family, and now you get all this Rhodes presence to be there for Cody, and he's like, "Wow, look at this!" Like, again, what he says in his song, "There's more than one royal family." It just would be, I don't
But
know. I just
is the Rose family a royal family though?
well,
It's
anyhow,
only
well,
there's only three of them.
yeah. I mean, that's another debate,
I'm
but
just saying, there's only three of them.
the fact is, I just think this will be. I thought last year was a good moment, but now props to them. They were able to keep it going. They were able to keep me enticed, keep us
Right.
excited, and I think now this is where you need to do the payoff, because
Right.
if it goes longer than this, you're gonna lose them. I don't think people want to see Roman. I just don't. It's gonna be a hard pill to swallow if Roman's
Right.
still the champ, and
Right.
it's again, who's next? The same thing we talked about with Gunter. Who the heck is gonna face Roman if he wins besides The Rock? And it's
Right.
like, do we again?
Right.
And we had this debate last year, I think, because we were hoping The Rock would show up last year. The Rock wins the title. Okay, The Rock beats Roman for the title. Now what? I think let Roman lose the title, and then you can have a nice, intimate feud with The Rock and Roman. They can have their match without the title involved, and then Cody can move on to challenge he wants to challenge. I think it's the best of both worlds. So that's just
Right.
me. I hope Cody wins, but what are you thinking here?
Okay. Now, I'll speak from a unbiased opinion and
Yeah,
speak if
that's
we're going to
fair.
speak if we're going to speak wrestling. So, I agree with you because of the simple fact I feel like if Roman wins this match, as you said, where do you go? Your biggest baby face has now been pretty much demolished. You're going to give Cody a third shot. You're going to give Cody a shot at the world title. If he wins that, is the story finished? No, it's not. You're going to pretty much kill your baby face completely. It's going to be a whole Lex Luger 1994 moment, or was it? Yeah, I believe 94, 93. Like where it's just like, what was the point of that? Completely. So, from an unbiased opinion, I do think Cody should win this, and we segue now into a new era because obviously you need somebody that's going to carry you now. Okay, you had the biggest heel in wrestling, passes the torch now to the biggest baby face in wrestling. Cody's at every pay per view, every week talent. He'll be there to defend the title. Now you'll have two titles. They will be consistently defended. Um, and again, that's just great for wrestling. Um, and like you said, if Rock does cost Roman the title, now you're getting into long storytelling, which is what we love. So yeah, you really thought for a second you were the tribal chief. You thought you were the guy? Absolutely not. And just like that, I can take it all from you, which I did. And now we got Rock and Roman at SummerSlam. Again, if you want to take a chance and prolong it, you got Rock and Roman next year, which I don't think would happen, but you have that. So I think from that standpoint, Cody winning makes a whole lot of sense. And with all this talent coming up, excuse me, you got an endless amount of guys Cody can work with, and I think matches will be good. Now, however, the other question will have to be with Roman now out of the title picture. What does that look like from a money standpoint? Because I'm pretty sure Roman is a big part of what their sponsors, all their sponsors are looking for. Roman brings in a lot of money. What does that look like with him away? Can they produce the same amount of money or around the same money with him gone? Or what capacity now does he work in now?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, there's kind of two sides of it. There's the whole actual story, actual match side of it, and implications there. But then there's also the business side of it. And there's a realization that this is a business. They need to market things. They need to have people at the helm that are going to draw in people to pay for the product that they're selling. And that all has to be considered. But honestly, again, maybe my bias, but I think Cody Rhodes has that. I think he has that pull. I think he is a guy
Right.
that's that recognizable at this point, that across all different forms of media, across all different sports, whatever it may be, he has that presence now, and he's really done well. More, on his credit and WWE's credit to really make him, even bigger than a household name. I think if you say Cody Rhodes to even the layperson, they likely will know or at least have heard that name before. And same with
Okay.
Roman Reigns. But I think that they can make it happen, and it's like I said, it'll usher in a new era, and he'll only get more popular from there. And yeah,
Right.
it's going to be great. All that to say that either way, wherever it may end up, I think it's going to be one hell of a WrestleMania. I think there are going
Right.
to be tons of amazing memories to be had. I know we will have a lot of memories with each other to have. It's an
Tremendous
honor,
time.
blessed to be able
Tremendous.
to be there in person and see this unfold and see how things turn out. Obviously,
Absolutely.
we're still 2 weeks away, so we could have some surprise guests, some surprise moments happen.
We
One
need
thing,
Jade. We need Jade and Bianca. I don't know what's taking so long to
yes,
make this match happen. Yeah. So what's the point of bringing in Jade? Excuse me. If you're not going to use her
yeah.
at
Well, and
WrestleMania, what's
and
the
they
point?
also had Bianca Belair
Mm.
on a lot of the promotional posters and stuff for WrestleMania,
Right.
so that makes me
Right.
think her involvement is definitely still going to be there. Now, recording this right now at time of recording, SmackDown actually happened tonight, so we did miss it. So I'll have to watch some recaps. So maybe they did have some new developments in SmackDown. I haven't checked social media just yet.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sure Jade Cargill will get some exposure. I'm sure Bianca Belair will have an opportunity. So we'll see where that turns out. But either way, it's great. I cannot believe that it happened where we got Philly. I mean, this was like within the past year or two, you and I were talking about like when they're going to come back to Philly. Man, it'd be cool if
Right.
they came back to Philly. And what
Right.
are the odds that they announced like
Right.
the following year?
Right.
They're like, yeah, we're coming back to
Right.
Philly. And me
Or
and you,
someplace near. I'm like, look, if it gets to,
New York, Jersey,
or even North Carolina, somewhere
Ohio,
close where we
even.
can, right, somewhere we can get to,
Yeah. And
even better. And on top of that, it's WrestleMania 40,
yeah.
and it's pretty much literally an hour and 45 minutes away from us.
Yep. So, and then also too, just quickly during the WrestleMania show, it's not necessarily a match, but there obviously will be usually there's a highlight for the Hall of Fame. We did touch on it that Paul Heyman has joined the Hall of Fame class. I would say for me personally, I have the most connection with Paul Heyman out of all the other inductees, but I don't know if you wanted to run down some of them
I
as
would say
well.
this is probably I am the this is probably the least interested class of the Hall of Fame that I've been interested in. Um,
Right.
again, obviously Paul Heyman, huge, definitely well deserved, and I think with everything that's going on this weekend, I definitely think he deserves to be the highlight of this Hall of Fame. Um,
And maybe that's why is that they knew it's in Philly. They knew he's involved in
right,
the matches because of the bloodline. So let's
right,
just kind of give him the main
right.
spotlight. I know also you have I'm blanking on the name. But Bray Wyatt's father
Oh yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
also inducted
'Cause
as a tag team. as
U.S.
well.
Express, which I've expressed to you, I don't think they're Hall of Fame worthy. I think
Well, I think too it also plays into Bray's passing
yeah, but
and
then
that
you
as
could you
well.
you could have easily inducted Mike Rotunda by himself, whether you use the IRS
Well, that's true.
character
Yeah.
or again, you could have just inducted Mike Rotunda. I think accumulatively with his time with the varsity club, his time with the U.S. Express, his time as IRS, you could have found some way to make a good
Yeah.
case he should be inducted. Again, maybe not the best persona guy, but definitely a good ring technician. So you definitely could have, you know, inducted him by himself. Now, why you would induct him with the U.S. Express, who, and I've gotten to a couple conversations with people online who say, "Oh, why they're two-time tag team champions." There's a lot of teams who were tag team champions, multiple time tag team champions. So my thing is if we're putting the U.S. Express in, who at a combined time I think we're only together probably about 3 or 4 years, who won the titles 2 times, but both those title reigns were only 2 months. And to me, growing up, the only highlight I remember them in is actually losing to the Iron Sheik and Volkov those belts. I believe it was at WrestleMania 2. So to me, it was if we're putting in the U.S. Express on those things, then I pretty much for me it felt like as a fan of tag team wrestling, I think the bar was kind of set kind of low on that. But as you said, maybe it was because of the whole Bray Wyatt thing, um, and Barry Windham being a Hall of Fame already with the Four Horsemen. Um,
Yeah.
I guess so. I guess so. But like I said, if you're gonna put them in, there's a lot of teams that's the bar, and there's a lot of teams that you got to put into. Um, go ahead.
I was going to say, and mentioning his father as we recap the year, not to kind of take things down, but obviously we had the passing of Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Extremely
Right.
huge shock, huge talent gone
Right.
way too soon. Bray had literally just come back and had his first match after being gone for a while, uh,
Mm-hmm.
with speculating that it was some sort of mental issues and things he had to work through in his hiatus. So he was able to come back now, kind of start a new persona, start a new character as he usually does with Uncle Howdy and that whole storyline. And we never really got to see that kind of, really flourish. And
Right.
it's definitely sad. The tribute they did for Bray Wyatt after he had passed is awesome. I was getting emotional
Right.
watching it.
Right.
I probably will think that they will do some sort of like in Miranda or in memoriam or some kind of tribute
Yeah.
to
Right.
him or those who had
Right.
passed and stuff. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to what WWE do. They did announce that they're doing a
Peacock
documentary
special.
on
Yes.
Peacock that comes
Right.
out April 1st. I will definitely be checking that out. And
Right.
it's definitely sad. He was also one of my
Right.
favorite wrestlers, and
Right.
it's a bummer. So, but either way,
And going back to the U.S. Express, and like you said, they're inducting them. And as I think about it, is it also makes sense that you're inducting the U.S. Express because Wyndham, I believe, Barry Wyndham, I believe, is the brother-in-law of Mike Rotunda. I believe through marriage they are related.
yeah,
So that makes sense why they will be inducted together. But Boo Nakano, again, a lot of people probably don't know who she is. Legend Japanese female wrestler. If you're an old school cat, you know her battles with Alundra Blaze. I remember that as a kid. Definitely it was a definitely well deserved. Boo Nakano definitely before her time. Again, going back to if she wrestled now, she probably will fit right in with these aggressive women that we have now. Thunderbolt Patterson, not too familiar with him, but I'm sure his accolades are well deserved. I read a little bit about it. Again, growing up, he started wrestling during the time where black athletes or people of color in general weren't getting fair shots. A lot of racism going on. Accomplished wrestler, saw his accolades, so definitely well deserved. And who's
Muhammad
the other?
Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Again, not really a huge fan of the celebrity wing. I feel like since now definitely we're shrinking the Hall of Fame class, I feel like those should go to guys who are well deserving since there are a considerable amount of wrestling talent there are not in the Hall of Fame. However, as you allude to, it's the celebrity factor, the bring the drawing of people in. From WrestleMania 1, Muhammad Ali was a big focal point of them drawing
Right.
fans in to watch what they were doing there. So definitely understand why they do the celebrity wing as a whole. I definitely understand that you need them. You needed them to promote wrestling, to get wrestling to where it is now, and even to today, with all these sponsors and everything, you need names to bring those things in. So I get it. However, considering we're shrinking, I think we could have used that. But again, Muhammad Ali, arguably the greatest boxer of all time.
I
Don't
know
really
you're.
got a right. Don't really got an issue with you putting it in celebrity wing at all.
I was gonna say I know your dad's gonna love it,
Oh yeah, the
being a
only
huge
thing that's
boxing
missing
fan.
is the fact that unfortunately he's
Right.
passed. It would have
He's
been
not with
nice
us. Yeah.
to actually have him there. So I'm going to assume Layla probably accepted it on his half, and again,
Yeah.
Layla Ali's still fine. So we're still gonna
We always
we're
circle
still gonna
back. We
yeah
always circle back. So,
still gonna enjoy this time. Hmm.
but yeah, so that's our Hall of Fame class. So yeah, it's going to be an action-packed weekend. So you may be asking, how do I watch it? How do we access this? If you were lucky enough, I don't think there's any tickets left, but you could have gotten tickets to purchase the event at the Lincoln Financial Field. However, you can watch the show on Peacock. So if you have a Peacock subscription, something else. If you have a Peacock subscription, you can tune in April 6th and April 7th. However, also on April 5th on Fox will also be SmackDown before WrestleMania, which is also usually a pretty big show. And then also,
Right.
too, you have the Hall of Fame after SmackDown on Peacock that will also be showing. You can watch the ceremony and them induct and the speeches, which are usually pretty nice, pretty heartfelt, and usually have some interesting people that actually help induct the person into the Hall of
Right.
Fame. They usually give a good
Right.
speech about them. So, and then also don't forget as well, Saturday, earlier in the day, we have NXT Stand and Deliver, which will also be showing on Peacock. So even if you can't be there in person, it is a full weekend for us as wrestling fans.
Right.
I've said this before. This is our Super Bowl. This is our big Super Bowl weekend. So if you have the time, link up with someone, go to their house, get some popcorn, get some wings, pizza, sit down, enjoy the weekend. It's a weekend that's
Yes.
for us wrestling fans. And like I said, the culmination of just a whole year of great stories and great moments.
Right.
And even too, if you're
Also tune into Raw after
after,
WrestleMania because
yeah, on the
usually,
USA.
right, if I'm not mistaken, that's usually the highest rating Raw of the year, considering they like to bring
Yep.
a lot of surprises or so on and so
Yep.
forth the next
Expect.
day. So definitely 4 days of wrestling. I'm definitely going to be tired. I took off 4 days. I should have took off the whole week. It's going to be an exhausting but very very exciting time in my life. So definitely
Yes.
one off the bucket list.
It will be
Mhm.
great. Also, too, if you happen to be near Philly or in the Philly area, if you don't want to go to the show, I will say that a lot of independent wrestling circuits all come together in the Philly area where the show is. So there are smaller shows that you can go watch if you want to see a wrestling show live. There's tons of promotions that
Right.
you can pop up and show. There's meet and greet events that happen in Philly. So
Right.
even if you can't make the show, you still want to enjoy that experience if you're nearby,
Right.
close by, and you're free on the weekend. Look into that and that as well. I know if you listen to the Busted Open podcast with Bully Ray Dudley, Mark Henry, Dave LaGreca, they will actually be doing an event at the old arena where they used to have ECW. The name is blanking on me now, but the
Right.
arena, they'll actually be holding an event there as well. That's a ticketed event. I saw that. That looks really enticing, but our weekend's kind of already accounted for with
Yeah, right.
WrestleMania, but
Absolutely.
either way,
Absolutely.
it is great. I
Right.
think my last topic that I had, quickly we can touch on it because I know we've been at it for a little bit here, but it's just the future of WWE. I think the future looks really bright. The other big thing I wanted to highlight is that WWE signed a huge deal with Netflix in the year 2025. They will now
Right.
have exclusive content on Netflix, and also Monday Night Raw will be live on Netflix. This is a huge step. We know Netflix has been trying to get into the live streaming game or live broadcast game. They have some live boxing matches coming up. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, that's happening this August. And
Excited for that.
now we also have Monday Night Raw as well, which is a very, very well-known show that's been around for decades, is now moving to a streaming service. So that's going to be interesting to see. And also, apparently what I saw is there'll be also some exclusive documentaries and other content that will be exclusive to Netflix. So WWE's
Nice.
kind of firing on all cylinders, and we're looking forward to see what they have coming next. And
Right.
also, SummerSlam right around the corner is also going to be even a more
Absolutely.
massive
And
event.
anybody watching this, all you wrestling fans watching this, please take this time. Again, me as a father, as a husband, Boo Boo as a husband, we got lives and everything. And sometimes, again, we get really busy, but during this time of WrestleMania season, go back and watch some of your favorite WrestleMania matches. I know me and Boo Boo do, especially during SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. We go back and watch. If we can't watch the whole thing, we at least try to watch some of the matches that maybe we remember, some of the matches that maybe we forgot about, classical matches. Please go back and watch some of your favorite WrestleMania matches or some of your favorite WrestleMania. I know WrestleMania 23 is one of my favorite ones. WrestleMania 6. Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat to me was the first WrestleMania match that I watched as a kid. Was like, yo, this match is amazing. Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle and Kane, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, just to name a few. Obviously, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, one of the biggest and arguably the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. But go back, take this time to really enjoy WrestleMania season. I know me and my cousin will. We're really excited. I'm really excited. But please go back, take the time, be a kid. Hey, be a kid for a week, and just take the time just to really enjoy this time where wrestling is cool again.
There it is. There it is. Wise words spoken. So I got to say, John, it's been a huge pleasure. Thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you. Thank you for
Thank you for
having me.
talking. This has been a long time coming. I'm glad we were able to make this happen. It's kind of like I said, a yearly tradition, and
Right.
I hope to keep doing it, and I hope to keep shedding some love for the wrestling fans out there.
Right.
Something that, with a
Absolutely.
podcast like this, where we talk about all different subjects and all the things we're into, I would be remiss if I didn't actually mention also my love of pro wrestling. I'm blessed to have a cousin that's into it. I'm blessed to have a wife that's also very much into wrestling. It's a beautiful thing. So hopefully you guys can maybe jump into it. If
Right.
you're
And that's the
watching
other
this,
thing too I'm really excited about. Not only, as you said, I helped get you into wrestling, I am actually going to be enjoying WrestleMania with my hero, my dad, the guy who got me into wrestling as a kid growing up. His obviously went to wrestling events at the old Madison Square Garden with our grandparents, to watch Bruno Sammartino, his favorite wrestler of all time, and guys like Gorilla Monsoon. So this is a very emotional and fantastic and a privilege to be able to enjoy my first WrestleMania with the man who is my hero in life, but also the man who got me into wrestling. So you'll be enjoying it with your wife. I will be enjoying it with my dad. We will be enjoying it together along with other friends that we will have joining us. So this is definitely going to be a memorable time for the both of us, and I am super excited.
well, very, very great words there. I mutual feelings all around. So there you have it. John, thanks again for coming on. Just a little bit of
Thank you for having
housekeeping.
me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So the Two Booze podcast, obviously you can find this feed on YouTube. You can also listen to the audio for all of our podcasts on anywhere that you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Downcast, Pocket Cast, wherever you listen to podcasts, we are available. If you're watching this Gamecast, if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment if you liked if you agree with a point on the show. Go ahead and like the show. Leave us a comment. I would love to engage in conversation with other fans out there. And again, if you'd like to follow the Two Boos, it's Twitter 2_Boos, TWOBOOS, and then on Instagram it's Two Boos Podcast, all one word together. So with that being said, that pretty much does it for the show. Thank you again, John. Was there anything last you want to say to the people?
Don't forget to look up Rhea Ripley's.
Of course.
They will not regret. But all jokes aside, cousin, thank you for always having me, for thinking of me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Much love.
Alrighty, and with that, this is the Two Boos signing off. Peace.
Hear the crowd on the top.